apartment became lodged in a baby's crib in the next door apartment. Now, we brought you the story yesterday, but now Channel 4's Brendan Tierney speaks to the baby's family at the Limestone Trail complex in Lebanon.
The family told me at least one of them could have easily been killed if they'd been home when that bullet flew into their apartment. They didn't feel comfortable talking with me on camera, but let me inside their home to capture these images of the bullet holes in the wall. It bounced around 4 different rooms before landing in a crib. Neighbors told me this is their last straw, and they're moving out because of the safety issues.
There is a lot of unruly children here. My son doesn't even come outside because of it, and there's never parents out here.
Police say the 14-year-old was kicking and spitting on officers as they arrested him for shooting the stolen gun. He's now facing multiple charges.
Yeah, police say that 14-year-old's gun was stolen during a car break-in 4 days ago in Lebanon. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com.
The major indexes were mixed at the start of the trading week. The Dow fell after a morning rally to close 81 points down. The S&P 500 gained 22 points. The Nasdaq rose 220 points after last week's sell-off. Oil prices were up after renewed fighting between Israel and Iran, but eased after an overnight spike. Shares of Marvell Technology were up more than 14% as the semiconductor company joins the S&P 500 index. Marvell replaces Campbell, which dipped 1% on its way out of the index, despite reporting stronger than expected quarterly profits. Shares of Corning were up after Amazon announced a multi-billion-dollar deal to produce optical fiber and other products for its data centers across the country. Apple chief Tim Cook hosted his last annual developers conference as head of the company. Apple unveiled new artificial intelligence features focusing on day-to-day use and on privacy. Chuck Sievertson, ABC News.
Now, stock futures are all pointing up this morning with the Dow futures plus 124, NASDAQ futures gaining 233 now, and the S&P futures are ahead by 34. That's the latest news. Traffic is next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Looking good so far on the roads this morning. I see no delays at all on 2440 or on 65. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.506 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to you, friends. Hope you are doing well, and welcome on in. We all good, Sam? Do we have Donald Trump over here? Good. We are presenting, Joan, Apparently, we needed another 30 seconds to get ready for the radio broadcast today.
Yeah.
But you know what? There's so much to talk about that we've all been discussing behind the scenes. I mean, we've been talking about behind the scenes among us and the pre-show meetings that we do. Iran, Benjamin Netanyahu, Donald Trump, pit bulls in the news today. Sam and I are talking about the Carmelo Anthony trial. We're talking about, I guess you had a story about a guy who was calling for license plate readers in Nashville because his car got jacked out of his driveway. So there's a lot going on.
And you're about to take vacation.
Yeah, when are you leaving us?
Friday.
I need to check in with my therapist.
I'm going to be here on Friday.
On Friday, and then you leave Monday.
And then... No, I'm going to be gone on Friday.
Oh, you're gone on Friday. Okay.
I'm going to be here, but then we're leaving.
Is Amy just going to be waiting in the parking lot for you?
And then when do you come back?
The following Monday. You're getting
Monday,
awfully specific, Joan. You're going to come use my hot tub?
Yeah. Yes.
Joan's going to be breaking in them.
And your new
Party at the
Dangria
Amanda's
machine.
house.
Yeah, and my new Dangria machine.
Yeah. Darn straight.
So just so we're clear, anybody who's listening, I have cameras and a house sitter and a dog sitter and a bandit sitter. And Bandit may not be a pit bull, but he can get vicious. He'll pee on your leg. Trust me, I know. Anyway, moving right along. Why are you asking all of these very...
because our listeners should know, and so should I. You know, it's like when the cat's away, the mouse will play kind of thing.
Oh, is that what's happening?
Yeah.
Okay,
we want to know
good.
when we can party around here without you knowing about it.
I'm a little worried, to be perfectly... Yeah, because you know who's filling in for me is Brian Wilson. He's a party animal.
Party.
Everybody knows how, Brian just throws it down.
Yeah.
From Watertown.
Bucolic Watertown.
Yeah.
My bad. Bucolic Watertown. It's all good. Anyway, so yeah, and I'm a little worried about my hydrangeas because, the person that is house sitting, he's really good with his Smith & Wesson and his Glock. Not so much about hydrangeas. So I'm a little worried. So you want to come over, Joan, and water my hydrangeas when I'm gone?
Well, I'm quite familiar with them because you keep sending me videos.
I noticed you didn't actually respond to my hydrangea videos from over the weekend. It made me feel a little bad that I sent them. Just so we're clear, you asked me for hydrangea videos. You did. You said, hey, Dan, send me videos of your hydrangeas. I said, okay.
I also want clippings. You didn't bring me clippings.
Oh, you know what I did?
What did you did?
I promise we'll get to the news. I mistook clippings with a video.
Oh, I see.
So I thought when you said I want clippings, I thought you meant you wanted a video of my hydrangeas. But no, you want me to you want to cut my beloved hydrangeas and give you some.
Right.
I don't think so.
What are you talking about?
I believe I was perfectly clear.
Share. Just all it is a clipping, and I'm going to take it and propagate it. I'm going to make your hydrangeas live on in infamy.
Not in my household. Not in my neighborhood.
I don't think so. My hydrangeas are mine.
I'm going to make new roots.
I'll figure out from Amy how exactly to do those clippings, as you say.
And by the way,
Yes.
I took off for the weekend. I went phoneless for most of the weekend. It was beautiful. It was a wonderful experience.
Okay. Not for me, because I was upset because you didn't respond to my hydrangeas video.
She responded to my class ring pictures.
Wow.
You responded. That's Sam.
You responded to Sam and not me? That's kind of messed up, Joan.
I did moments where I took a sneak peek at my phone real quick.
But clearly not my hydrangea videos. Wow.
Were they in focus?
Yes, they were in You want them? I'll send you my hydrangea videos.
Please respond to him, for heaven's sakes.
Somebody respond to my hydrangea videos.
Are you the guy at Home Depot showing the guy in the apron that works there your hydrangeas?
That's him. Definitely him.
Okay, turn the mic on, Dan.
Is there a problem with that?
No.
Showing
I'm just trying to gauge your
the aproned
interest.
Guy at Home Depot and Lowe's my hydrangea videos?
I'm just trying to gauge your interest in flora.
Anyway, whatever. So, no, I actually... You ever had... And this is actually an interesting social media thing. So when somebody doesn't respond to a text message, do you then start having text message regret? where it's like,
Oh, yeah, for
where it's
sure.
like maybe because Joan, you
Maybe
and I
cross the line.
You and I are always texting back and forth on the weekends, particularly
I
about
know.
plant life.
I should have told you. Well, I didn't really know that I was going to take the weekend off, but it got super busy. And
Well,
I
I just
thought,
said, no. Hold on,
Okay.
Joan.
Okay.
You did not take the weekend off. You took the weekend off from me because you responded to Sam. I'm truly hurt by
Are you
this,
hurt?
Joan.
I'm
I
sorry.
am. I'm just a little hurt. Whatever. It's cool. It's fine. Don't worry about me. It's all fine, well, and good.
I think she waited till Sunday.
So why
Sam,
are we?
you're making it worse.
So why were you? What? It's fine. I. You know what, Joan?
What?
Can I be honest? I'm so used to being ignored by the women in my life, whether it is my work wife or my home wife. You know what? It's fine. It's cool.
It's fine.
You know, I
It's
went
fine.
like. Okay, so this is what happened yesterday. You want to hear what happened yesterday? And then I promise I'll get to the news. Just an example of how both my work wife and my home wife like to ignore me. So just like Joan, who did not respond to my hydrangea videos. By the way, we're now going on like 4 or 5 days that you have not responded. I get home and I start trying to engage my wife in conversation as I do. And she's just, typing on her computer.
Like she didn't hear you?
Won't even look at me. And I'm like, so then, just like with you, Joan, I start thinking in my mind, oh, what did I do wrong? Because, I thought all day, all during the weekend, because you didn't immediately respond to my hydrangea videos, that you were mad at me. And then all day Monday, yesterday, I thought you were mad at me. I thought,
here
what
we
did I do
go.
wrong? And then Amy,
I forget how sensitive you are sometimes.
and then Amy, was so busy, she wouldn't even, engage me in conversation. And so I said, honey, is there something wrong? I got 2 words from her. I'm busy. So I thought, you know what? I thought, I'm going to show her. You know what I did?
What did you do?
I'm so dumb. I went down into my basement for hours. I'll show her. I'm going to go down into my basement and I'm not going to come back up.
Did
So
she
it's-
notice?
Yeah, she said, I'm getting so much work done. Can you stay down there for another couple of hours? It's like I can't win.
I'm sorry, Tim.
Did you even look at my just real quick?
Did
you
I
even
did.
look at them?
I did, yes. I like them very much. I didn't realize you had as many as you did.
That's all I had to do, Joan.
Okay.
Even just a little heart on the text
Okay.
or a thumbs up would have been appropriate.
I don't know. Thumbs up's passive aggressive for something like that.
You think?
You've loved and cared for these hydrangeas.
Right. They need a heart.
Yeah.
Here we go. I'm gonna
Or the heart hands emoji. That's my new favorite one.
Joan, don't bother to
I
respond
put a
now.
heart on that one.
Don't
That's
even
a
bother.
pink-
No.
That
Don't
was
even
a pink
bother.
heart. Do you like pink hearts, or is that passive aggressive too?
How about a white middle finger? That's what you're going to get back. You don't. A response doesn't count when I have to nag you into a response. It's like when you tell your spouse, "I love you," and then they don't say it back, and then you start
Right.
yelling at them, "I love you," and then finally it's like, "God, I love you." Well, it doesn't count now because I had to badger you into it.
And for the people who are asking on the super text line, they're white flowers, I guess. Oh no, I see some of them are bluish.
I got a purple one that's going to rock your world if you look at them. You know what? Some guys send other kinds of photos and videos. I send pictures of my hydrangeas.
I know,
That just tells you a
yeah.
lot about me.
Yeah.
Are people actually on the super text? You know what? Super
Yeah.
texters, if you'd like, I'll send you pictures of my hydrangea. Oh my God. That's what I ought to do.
Oh boy.
I ought to
It's a
start
scandal in the making.
Super texters, if they want to see my hydrangeas, I can just start texting them and see if they'll respond.
So you made it awkward because you had the pause before hydrangeas.
Well, that's a you problem, Joan. If you're reading that much into a pause,
yeah.
I whatever. By the way, Joan, you said that you were you had a bit of a kerfuffle or something when you were coming into work today. Oh, you had a little bit. Anything going on in traffic, real quick?
Crash in Creve Hall, Harding Place at Trailsdale Drive.
Okay.
There we go. So this morning, first of all, my husband absolutely hates it when I get gas in the morning because he doesn't want me to stop at a gas station.
No, that's not very smart.
2:30 in the morning.
That's not very smart.
It's not. But I got home. I was laying in bed last night going, I forgot to put gas in the car. So I thought, that's okay. We have a brand new gas station near our home. It's a big, I think it's called a Speedway or something like that. And it's big. It's well lit. It's very nice.
Well, that's good that it's well lit. It'll give the criminals enough light to rob you.
Exactly. So, of course, I'm the only one in the parking lot, and I pull in and I flash my card and I press, regular gasoline, whatever, and I pull the hose out of the machine. And the second I did that, all the lights in the parking lot go off.
Oh, my goodness.
The whole place went dark. And I'm standing there holding the stupid thing in my hand like, oh my gosh, what just happened? Did I do that?
Did you break it?
That's what I thought.
So then what happened?
Well, I put it in the car and I started gassing up and I ran into my car and locked the doors. Like, I didn't know if somebody was like trying to scare me. I don't know.
Yeah. Whatever happened, I mean, that would scare me.
Yeah. So I was watching in my mirror and there was a woman in the inside in the store part. And I think she realized that the lights were out at some point. It took her what felt like 20 minutes. It was probably just about a minute and a half to go and turn the lights back on again. But man, that scared me because I thought I did something.
Well, you probably did.
Yeah.
I mean, if it happened right when you flipped the thing on, then yeah, you probably broke the whole thing, Joan.
I shorted out something.
Kind of like the radio station at the top and bottom of every hour.
Yeah.
I'm totally kidding.
This is what I get for not watching your hydrangea videos.
Okay, so 7546 says this about you going and getting gasoline at 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
And this is exactly what I was thinking, sort of. Well, Joan, if your husband loved you, he'd have a 5-gallon can of gas in the garage just for such emergencies. I'll take it a step further. If John was as perfect as you claim, he would actually, every week, every Sunday, go and fill up your car with gasoline just because he loves you.
You know what? When we were younger and our kids were young, he always made sure I had gas in my car. Always, always, always.
Well, clearly the honeymoon's over after 30 plus years.
Definitely over. He's like, I got to go to sleep. So, yeah. And generally, if I say, oh, gosh, I don't have any gas in the car, he'll go get it. Like, no problem. But I just forgot about it until I got in bed last night. So it was on me.
That's why you should always consider a tactical light on your everyday carry. Just saying.
I see.
Because Joan's just going to start shooting a bunch of people at a gas station?
And let me just tell you, the whole Sunday night thing, that's nice. But by Tuesday afternoon, I need more gas. I drive a long way to get to this job.
You have to fill up 2 days, like a couple of times a week?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What do you drive?
It's a little Buick. Doesn't have a big gas tank. That's the problem with it.
I drive a RAV4, and it gets pretty good gas mileage. I have to fill up, I think, maybe once a week, what I have to do. Because I specifically got that car because it gets good gas mileage. And if gas prices go up anymore, I'm going to turn that in for a Camry.
You're also about 20 minutes closer.
Yeah.
Those are details that people don't need to know. I'm just saying my car is better gas mileage than you two. That's all I'm saying. I'm just kidding. No, I actually, you know what's so funny? I don't even know what gas mileage my car gets.
Probably in the low 30s.
RAV 20, I think it's a 2021, 2022 RAV4. I don't know.
Oh, so it's older.
Yeah, it's an older car.
Okay.
It's an older car. So anyway, whatever. Everybody actually, people are asking to see my hydrangeas.
28.
28 miles to the gallon?
Yeah.
Is that considered good?
35 miles on the highway.
That's what I get.
Yeah.
In my car.
Yeah.
It's
You do though live a long way away, Joan. You do. You live a long way. Sam, you live a long way as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, no, I get it. I
turn a 45-minute drive into a 30-minute drive.
Because you're speeding?
It's because I know where all the right turns are, Dan.
Well, you should because you're conservative. I try not to make left-hand turns. Are you like that, Joan? Because
Well, to be fair, that's NASCAR.
Too many left-hand turns and people start thinking that we're like progressive.
Lefties.
We're already, got a bunch of black marks against us because I'm from California, you're from Maryland. or New Jersey.
I'm from Jersey.
I know, but your last stop was Maryland. And
That's
so
true.
those are both left-leaning states. So,
Yeah.
But you were smart enough to jump ship, you know?
You almost have to when you live in those states. You almost have to, especially if you want to retire.
Yeah.
My husband's retired. Coming down here and not having your retirement taxed is like gold, found gold. They tax the air you breathe in the Northeast.
oh, it's insanity.
Yeah.
It is crazy. Let's see here. Gas is going down.
Yeah. So
Have you noticed this? Gas is going down. Somebody just said gas $3.39 in Murfreesboro, where
Yeah.
I get gas. It's $3.49.
I just paid $3.44 this morning.
There you go.
But if you go to the BJ's, it's even 20 cents off of that almost every time you fill up. So,
Which is weird because the war out of the Strait of Hormuz is not even close to being over.
right.
Like not even Donald Trump again. I've got the audio. Is saying, "Oh, we should be, have an agreement in the next couple of days." He keeps doing this, Joan. I don't know why he keeps doing this, but he does.
Yeah.
He should have just gone to the Knicks game last night and not spoken to anybody. But you know who he did speak to? He spoke to Benjamin Netanyahu, and apparently it was another very pointed conversation. Part of that discussion between Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu, because we talked about all the firing going back and forth between Israel and Iran, was apparently he said to Benjamin Netanyahu, you may very well end up on your own with Iran if you keep this up. Now, we'll get into all of that and a whole lot more straight ahead. It is 5:23. Let's see here, 3:38 in Lewisburg, 11:66. Joan doesn't sound like a Yankee.
Well, when you want to get into this business, you do your best not to sound like you're from anywhere except the Midwest.
I think, though, that notion, I mean, Joan, you and I are of a certain age where in broadcasting that used to be the truth.
Yeah, it's not anymore.
It's not anymore. Now, if you have
An accent
or maybe just a more unique voice like
Yeah.
I have, it's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you remember when we were coming up, Joan, there was no way anybody was going to let me on the radio. And then just over time, the deep baritone voice thing, everybody sounded like exactly the same.
Yeah.
And nobody had any personality to their voice. And now, the more unique of a voice you have, the more you actually stand out. Pete, you know what people have said to me? Then I promise I'm going to move on. People have actually said to me, if they're traveling to other parts of the country and they hear me on the air on another radio station, because I do fill in all over the country, they'll say, I immediately knew that it was you before you even said your name. I knew it was you because you have that high, whiny voice. And believe it or not, Joan, I find that is a compliment.
Okay.
So there you go. You all right?
You have pretty hydrangeas and your voice is high. Perfect.
And whiny.
And
your dog
whiny,
pees
right?
on
I
your
forgot.
leg.
And your dog pees on your
and
leg.
my dog pees on
Yeah.
my leg. That's right. And I'm threatening to buy a Camry if gas prices go up anymore. Anyway. $48.99. Unique. That's one way to look at it.
No, I can verify. Having looked at the WAV file, Dan's voice doesn't break like other people's voices do when they pause. It's somehow he's still generating a sound, which is how, if you remember way back, you magically whistled with your mouth wide open.
That was weird. Because I can't actually
shouldn't be
whistle.
possible.
Like if I tried to whistle, I can't. But I'll be in the middle, Joan, of a commercial. Remember this happened? I'll be in the middle of a commercial or in the middle of a fire-breathing monologue, and then all of a sudden I whistle out of nowhere. It drives me nuts.
Well,
Anyway.
It's a you can actually sell that as a trait, as a gift. Yeah, it's a gift. It's a God-given gift.
Don't say I can sell it, because sales are like trying to put a sponsorship on the Mandis whistle. Anyway, 5:25. Joan's got the news at 5:30. Joan.
Yeah, coming up here, a dog attack inside a North Nashville home. 5 pit bulls shot dead. That story coming up at 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning. It's 5:30 now, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Got a flood watch until 1 o'clock this afternoon across most of Middle Tennessee and southern Kentucky. Now, we're calling here for spotty showers and thunderstorms, and the highest possibility is Nashville and to the north of I-40. To the south of that, the spotty showers may be even less frequent today. A high today of 87 degrees. Stefano says that later in the week we could get really hot weather around here. We'll keep you updated on that. We do have breaking news. Metro Nashville police have shot and killed 5 dogs that have been attacking a woman inside a North Nashville home.
Yeah, investigation is still ongoing. We just found out it was 5 pit bulls that attacked the woman inside of this home. Now, she was the homeowner, but that woman is in the hospital this morning recovering from serious injuries. But Metro police say this all started when a neighbor heard a woman needing help inside of that home, and when they forced their way in, they saw 5 dogs attacking that woman.
That's Channel 4's Joylyn Bukovac there. Metro police are now conducting an internal review. President Trump is insisting that the ceasefire is still holding between Iran and Israel, saying peace talks do continue. Here's Trey Yingst at Fox News with the latest.
After President Trump called on Israel and Iran to stop shooting, both sides agreed. Since then, Israel has continued to operate against Iran-backed Hezbollah in Lebanon, launching new strikes overnight and issuing fresh evacuation orders this morning. With questions about if the ceasefire could be broken again, international attention remains on the Strait of Hormuz, where the U.S. naval blockade of Iranian ports is expected to continue. CENTCOM says U.S. forces disabled an unladen oil tanker in the Gulf of Oman on Monday after it tried to breach the blockade. An F/A-18 Super Hornet from the USS Abraham Lincoln fired a precision munition into the ship's engineering and steering rooms.
Other news of the day, voters in Maine will cast their ballots today in perhaps the most watched primary election in the country. Democrat Graham Plattner is expected to win his party's nomination to challenge Republican Susan Collins in November. That's the latest news. Stick around for traffic next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Going to crash out of B&A. It's on Murfreesboro Pike at Donaldson Pike. And one more in Creve Hall. This is on Harding Place at Trousdale Drive. Major roadways looking okay so far this morning. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.537 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to you and welcome on in. Tuesday, June 9th. I think I have that right, correct? Tuesday, June 9th. So big news in the Carmelo Anthony trial. I don't know, Joan, if you've been following this real closely.
Oh, yeah.
Holy mackerel, things have not been going well for Carmelo Anthony. I want to play, this is from Fox News. I need some video here if we could. This is Fox News talking about just how bad it's been for Carmelo Anthony and the defense.
He testified, quote, Carmelo said, "You will have to move me." Austin put his hand on his back. I saw Carmelo's hand go in the backpack. Were to track me, I wouldn't expect anything to be in there, Carmelo said. Touch me, you'll have to move me and find out, trying to provoke him. Then what happens, the prosecutor asks. The witness says Austin put his hand on him and falls back. How was Austin trying to move him? The witness says it was him trying to move him off his seat, a soft shove. A 16-year-old witness then testified that, quote, Anthony repeated, "F y'all, I'm not going to leave." He said Anthony also threatened, "Touch me and see what happens," while Metcalf told him, "I'm not going to fight you." And then notably, this was big over the weekend, one of the defense's own witnesses during cross-examination said, quote, "I think Carmelo was in the wrong." Prosecutors added, "Did Carmelo Anthony provoke the confrontation?" The witness answered yes. Now the state rested after calling 21 witnesses. Now the defense presenting their case. We're expected to hear from more of their witnesses today, Bill.
Well, then that was a couple of days ago, and the defense apparently has now rested Carmelo Anthony not taking the stand. Now, people are trying to decide whether or not that was smart on the defense's part or not. I would say this. Number one, Joan, when they were talking about, and we did discuss yesterday talking about Carmelo Anthony, where they showed the jury a picture of Austin Metcalf's heart.
Oh, yeah.
So there is a lot of things that are being discussed. Number one is, of course, that photograph. Also videos. There's a video that they showed. One of the things that Carmelo Anthony and his defense have been trying to say is that he was surrounded by all of these kids. Well, when they looked at the video, that was actually not the case. So every time you turn around, and you just heard one of the witnesses for the defense upon cross-examination admitting that Carmelo Anthony was wrong, that Carmelo Anthony was provoking the situation. One of the other things that after day one of, I don't know if it was jury selection or if it was day one of the of the trial itself, but at the end of the day, at the end of the hearing that day, whatever it was, Carmelo was laughing with his attorneys. They were, wadding up pieces of paper and shooting them at the basket, at the trash basket. In other words, not really taking this seriously. His mood changed, according to people inside the courtroom, when they started talking about the autopsy report, and old Carmelo would not even look up from his lap. He knew that the autopsy looked really bad. He also knows that all those witnesses, and I'm sure that some of them were black, if you want to make this into a racial thing, where all of these witnesses are saying that Carmelo Anthony, including one of his witnesses, admitting that Carmelo Anthony provoked the situation. He killed Austin Metcalf in cold blood. He provoked it, and there was absolutely no reason for him to sink a knife into Austin Metcalf's heart. And he's looking at lifetime in prison.
He is. So, there is, the jury begins deliberating today, and they the defense rested their case. Prosecutors labeled. I'm not sure if the jury got their instructions yet.
It'll probably come today after closing statements.
Okay, so yesterday, the live update said that the Bree West, who is a criminal defense attorney, has been attending the trial, said that the judge will ultimately decide what charges the jury can consider. Interesting.
Really?
So yeah, and she said when you're in a trial, you're sort of charged with one offense, but during the course of the trial, different things come up. So maybe now there's evidence, and this is her quote, maybe now there's evidence that a lesser offense was included, and if there is, then the jury deserves the ability to consider that as a potential sort of guilty or not guilty versus charged offense, right? Because again, we know here in Texas, murder is a results-oriented crime. I intended to cause the result of death. If that's what you believe beyond all reasonable doubt, then you're guilty of murder. But if that's not what you believe, then what is something else that that you may have heard during the course of the trial that could also be true? In this particular case, we're talking about manslaughter, which would, of course, be a lesser crime and a lesser sentence.
I don't see how you can, and I don't know Texas law, but I don't see how you can come up with anything other than murder. I mean, manslaughter, here's what manslaughter is to me, and certainly with the family full of lawyers, Sam can chime in on this, but to me, manslaughter might be, oh gosh, I was driving in my car and I was not paying attention and I accidentally killed someone.
Yeah.
That is manslaughter to me. Murder is when you are provoking a situation and you slowly reach into your bag, you pause your hand in the bag, and you tell somebody, whatever he said to Metcalf, keep doing whatever you're doing and find out. To me, that's premeditated. He knew that he was going to plunge that knife into the heart of Austin Metcalf. He knew that he was going to do it. To me, that is premeditated. I understand, though, that there's not that whole lying in wait situation. Maybe a really good lawyer could present that, but I think to me, it still rings true of murder. But maybe I'm wrong.
No, I mean, it definitely should. In Texas, there's 4 ways you could go for murder. The intentional or knowing that you're going to kill somebody, felony murder, which is when you're already in the commission of a felony and you kill somebody, drug delivery resulting in death. We saw that kind of get upgraded with all the fentanyl that's coming over the border. But this is where they'll probably get him for murder, intent to cause serious injury. You don't pull out a knife in a situation that was described where other witnesses are calling him the aggressor if you think you're going to cause a minor injury to somebody, a foldable 5.5-inch blade knife.
And here's the other thing, to your point. Carmelo Anthony did not give Austin Metcalf a chance to respond, right? Yep. So he pulls it out and immediately stabs him in the heart, as opposed to pulling it out and saying, back off.
Back off, yeah.
Which
he had the option to do that, and he didn't choose that option.
Right. He clearly intentionally wanted to kill. So I think that you could make the argument that this was premeditated, because at the point that his hand is in the bag and he's reaching for the knife, I don't know what kind of knife it was, if his little button that you push to open up the thing.
Switchblade?
the switchblade. But he opened it up somehow. So he probably had maybe 20, 25, 30 seconds of premeditation, because he knows what he's going to do.
Yeah.
This was not a split-second decision, which is, 1 or 2 seconds. No, this was, I'm going to reach into my bag and I'm going to threaten this guy, and then I'm going to pull it out and I'm going to stab him in the heart. And then, by the way, as we talked yesterday, then he chose to run, as opposed to saying, you know what, it's cool, I'm going to get out of here. And by the way, and the people have talked about this ad nauseum, but when I was in track back in the mid-'80s in high school, the last thing you would do is go into the tent of a competing school. You just don't do that. Now, there's some people that are going to say, oh, how stupid. They were fighting over, being, in the wrong tent. That was something that Carmelo Anthony was trying to provoke. Clearly, he was trying to provoke. In my opinion, because he's a dirtbag. And he deserves to spend the rest of his life in prison. Now, will he? More than likely not.
It's possible.
We'll have to see.
Well,
I mean, he may get a certain sentence, but then, he'll get time off for good behavior. He'll find Jesus. Yeah. He's a changed man and all that, and they'll let him out.
Education while he's there.
Oh yeah, just all the BS, right? All of the BS.
So a little bit of insight into what happened yesterday as well. So both sides are giving their closing arguments, like Sam was saying this morning. Jurors begin deliberation. Now, the judge yesterday sequestered the jury for the night. He gave them a stern warning about getting on social media. He said, don't do it. And then he encouraged them to pack a bag just in case they can't make a decision by tonight. Like once they begin deliberating, if they can't make a decision, they're staying.
Yeah.
So he told them to pack a bag and come back in the morning.
So one of the things that I noticed, I don't know, Sam, did you want to have something to add before I go on?
Well, it's just to Joan's point about lesser included offenses. What is going to happen in the instructions is the judge is going to walk them through the specific count of murder. He's only been charged with one count, which I find kind of fascinating. You could have charged him with a count of, murder, and I don't think to do first and second degree in Texas. I think it's either murder or capital murder. You could have charged him with murder and aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. You could have stacked some charges, but what the jury's going to get to do, they may not come to a decision on murder, but they could say manslaughter and aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and the commission of a deadly weapon during a felony. He was on school property with a prohibited item.
Yeah, there's various.
They could stack all those.
Yeah.
Me personally, what I would like to see is the murder conviction run with another charge, tack it on, give him. Because in Texas, the sentencing guideline is 5 to 99 years.
99.
So
Joan?
5 to 99, though. That window is where they can go to.
I like 99.
Well, if you stack them, then you can get these things to run concurrently, and you can force something over 25 years.
The other thing about this is that, you've got, Joan, how many, I've been looking at these videos of these morons outside of the courtroom.
Yeah.
There's about 10, right? Yeah. I don't know if I would say this is like widespread like we saw outside of the New Jersey detention facility.
This is, by the way, called the Next Generation Action Network, an activist group.
All right, so there's like 10. I don't think that, unless I'm wrong, but I've seen a couple of different videos now where it's just like a handful of the most extreme racist that you will ever find.
Yes.
He's innocent because he's black. He should walk because he's black. Oh, this is just a part of slavery. All of that BS. And that's what these people are saying. And Sam and I have a disagreement on this. And so, Joan, you're going to be you are going to be the tiebreaker.
Be the arbiter. Mm-hmm.
So I don't believe, because I think that it is clear that Carmelo Anthony is wrong here. I think it is clear that he committed murder, right? Or manslaughter or whatever. He was in the wrong. And so I believe that you've got these 10 people out there. They're doing what they're going to do. They are the most extreme. And I don't think there will be, if he is found guilty and he ends up, going to prison for whatever, I think that'll be the end of it. Because I think that most of the activists understand that Carmelo Anthony was in the wrong. Sam thinks that once there is a guilty verdict and he ends up getting sentenced, that's when there will be, George Floyd type riots in the streets.
Well, I think I didn't get to preface this before we went on air with it, but I think it'll be small scale and it'll build, right? I think we'll hear of a scuffle in one town and then it turned out into a shootout in another town. And it's going to build into another George Floyd situation over time because people are going to come out with their comments. We're going to get some unredacted information from the court on things. When a case is over and done with and someone's been sentenced, everything else becomes public information. Mm-hmm. So it's,
So to that end, the Next Generation Action Network, I think they've realized that they're out of control. So there was a break yesterday for about 3 hours during the trial. There was a lunch break, and then after the lunch break, it was extended. It's not really clear what was going on there. But the founder of that network, his name is Dominique Alexander, approached the microphones and said this: people have traveled from all across the country, and we thank you for that, but we remain to continue to ask you to do it in revolutionary peace. whatever that means. Do it as if your child was fighting for his life right now. He said, please, what we've seen, it seems like more attention has been given on what's going on outside the court than what's going on in the court.
Well, I think he's
covering his butt is what he's doing.
Yeah, I don't know if that's true. I mean, I think the sideshow is part of the conversation, but I think there's only 10 of them. You're clearly racist moron idiots. And it is also clear that, in my opinion, Carmelo Anthony is guilty here. But I think that people have been paying attention to what's going on inside. So they have chosen to make themselves the center of attention outside. By the way, is there a possibility that there's like some sort of a plea bargain at play here?
The only thing that could happen, a year ago, he had a deal on the table. I don't know what the exact parameters were, but it was probably a better deal than letting, in Texas, you can either let the judge or a jury decide your sentencing after you're convicted. I feel like that deal would probably have been a better take for him. They could possibly, if a deal is offered, but it's up to the judge. He would have to take it up. He could say, to hell with you. You had all this time to take a deal. We're going to let the jury finish this out. They've been here for a whole week. So I doubt it would be taken up, but you could, in theory, the prosecution could come to the defense and go, we'll cut you a deal right now. In my mind, it would have to be a minimum of 25 to life with a parole eligibility at 25 for them to even think about it, because you're leaving it up to the fate of a judge or a jury to decide whether or not you would get that particular sentencing, or you're rolling the dice on a forever life in prison, no parole.
And the other thing is people are making hay about the fact that there's no black jurors. You know, there was one black dude that actually got up and he said, I don't believe that I could put a brother in jail. So, okay, did you want the prosecution to agree that that would be a great witness? Defense would love that, but obviously the prosecution wouldn't. And the other three women, and I don't know how many there were, but there were three women that were educators, and you know they were worried that they could not be neutral because they were in education, and this happened at a school. So we'll have to wait and see what happens today.
The other thing people are pointing out, his parents are probably the most guilty for everything about this whole situation.
Absolutely.
They strung him out, didn't let him take that deal. They collect, because the second he takes the deal, the donations stop, right?
Yeah.
So they let $700,000 pour into their bank accounts to basically hang their kid out to dry that they didn't raise right in the first place. But when a white kid goes into a school and shoots it up, we're going to charge the parents as accessories in that case. And we're going to send them to prison for the actions of their child, but not in this one, right?
All right. It is 6 o'clock, 5:54, actually, 5 before 6. Joan's got the news at 6. Joan.
Yeah, coming up here, there's a local barricade situation that's underway right now. We've got the latest on it coming up here at 6 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
5:58, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, Joan, real quick.
Yep.
I know you're getting ready for your award-winning newscast at the top of the hour. Somebody's complaining that we didn't do traffic at 5:45. We never do traffic at 5:45. It's just not in the format. But is there anything going on traffic-wise that people need to know?
There is a crash in Creve Hall. It's on Harding Place at Trousdale Drive. And to be honest, I mean, the delays are very minimal this morning on most of the major roadways.
All right, so the debate continues over Spencer Pratt. The debate continues over whether or not there have been hijinks and shenanigans in the L.A. mayor's race. Listen to this, just one sentence. Nathia Rahman is dominating the recent ballot dumps. On election night, she trailed Spencer Pratt by about 40,000 votes. Now, she is ahead by 22,000. It just does seem illogical. Got a lot more straight ahead. It is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. It is now 6 o'clock, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. And there's an active barricade situation in Clarksville this morning. Police are asking people living along Sturtevant Drive to stay inside their homes. They were called to that neighborhood last night because of a fight. That's when a man walked into a home nearby and refused to come out. Here's Channel 4's Holly Thompson.
Investigators say he has an order prohibiting him from being in this specific area. And we're told he is refusing to cooperate with police and that crisis negotiators have now been brought in to help.
Now, it's not clear if anybody else is inside the home with him. There's some new information now about the downing of a U.S. Apache helicopter near the Strait of Hormuz. Happened overnight. U.S. Central Command is now saying that the two U.S. Army pilots were rescued by an unmanned drone. It picked them up and took them to land, indicating that it went down over water. CENTCOM saying in a post on X that the Apache was patrolling regional waters when the incident occurred. The cause of the incident is under investigation, they say. These drones, by the way, are part of the Navy's first ever drone task force. President Trump attended Game 3 of the NBA Finals at Madison Square Garden last night. Here's ABC's Sophie Flay speaking about his reception by the fans.
It appeared to be a frosty reception at Madison Square Garden for President Trump. Trump, the first sitting president to attend an NBA Finals game.
Yeah, the president, by the way, a Knicks fan from way back, saw his reception, though, a little bit differently.
It was certainly amazing. It was I think, mostly cheers. It was loud and it was very enthusiastic.
Yep, the president sitting in a box to watch the game. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com.
Rising shares in chip-related companies helped the NASDAQ Composite and S&P 500 to regain some of Friday's massive losses. The Standard & Poor's picking up 0.3% yesterday. The NASDAQ Composite 0.8%. No such luck for the Dow, which lost another 81 points Monday. Speaking of tech, OpenAI has filed preliminary paperwork toward going public. That follows initial public offering announcements from rival AI giant Anthropic and SpaceX. The Elon Musk company joins the NASDAQ 100 on Friday. Shipments of tech-related products and automobiles helped to drive a 19% increase in exports from China in the past year. Exports specifically to the U.S. surged 35% year over year. And PepsiCo is going driverless for some of its delivery trucks. The Wall Street Journal says the snack and drink company is already using dozens of autonomous vehicles to make deliveries in Arizona before it tries a broader rollout. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Stock futures up, pointing up this morning with Dow futures plus 139. That's the latest news. Stick around for traffic and weather. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. All right, so we have Creve Hall, an accident at Harding Place and Trousdale Drive, looking like it's slow going this morning on 24 westbound. As you get a little closer to the Nashville area, starting in Laverne through Nashville, it's a little bit slow this morning. Otherwise, the roads are looking good. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.606 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to you, friends. Hope you are doing well. Matthew Hurt is going to be joining us at 6:36. It's Maine Day, by the way. It's Maine primary day. So today's the day that Graham Plattner will see. We are going to see, today is the big day. How low will the Democrats go? Will they actually vote for Graham Plattner as their candidate for the Senate? We'll have to see what happens. It's actually
primary day in Maine, South Carolina, Nevada, and North Dakota.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. And you haven't heard a single thing about the other ones.
No. Well, because the other ones, I'm assuming that the candidates there probably relatively normal.
Yeah.
I mean, when you start talking about, how many lies has Graham Plattner told? Like, what did we find out yesterday?
Oh, wait. Yeah, did you hear the latest one? That he's a bit of a history buff? I'm a bit of a history buff, you know. He said this to a crowd. I'm a bit of a history buff. But he didn't know that the tattoo on his chest was an absolute
It's a Nazi symbol.
Anti-Semitic.
Oh, my gosh.
I have to find that. I'll see if I can find that audio for you. I heard it yesterday, and my head almost exploded. Are you kidding me?
I wonder if this is sort of like a demarcation zone point for the Democrats, where it's like, okay, we can't go this low. I do wonder if there are Democrats that are saying we just can't do this. But you've got Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries both, and other leaders of the Democrat Party that are saying that Graham Plattner is their guy. Elizabeth Warren, same thing. So we'll talk about that with Matthew Hurt coming up at 6:36. I do want to get to the latest in the Iran war. So both Iran and Israel have now said that they will halt strikes on each other for now, but said that they would be back. I need some video. They said that they would be back if either side starts striking again. This is Donald Trump.
We had a very good conversation, and he was hit, and he hit back, and I can't blame him for that, but he was hit. He hit back.
Talking about Benjamin Netanyahu.
And now they've called it quits, so they're going to just leave each other alone for another week or something. It's been going on for a long time. You could say about 3,000 years if you really want, but certainly it's been going on for 47 years. But no, he hit back. They were going back and forth, and now they both agreed through me to stop. And we're in the final throes of what will be a very, very good deal that will not allow in any way, shape, or form nuclear weapons, etc. And the Strait will open up right away. It'll open up immediately upon signing, which could be in 2 or 3 days.
So Donald Trump saying the Strait of Hormuz will open up in 2 or 3 days. And I'm noticing CNN is reporting as well that there will be some sort of a larger agreement in a few weeks. I don't know. I don't even know what to say about it anymore. This is from Reuters. Iran's armed forces issued a statement Monday announcing they would cease attacks, but said continued Israeli military operations, including in Lebanon, would be met with far more severe and crushing measures. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said Israel will respond to any attacks from Iran or its proxies with might, adding that the war has not yet ended. So, as I said, you've got right now, there is, I guess they're adhering to a ceasefire or whatever. The announcements come after President, here's the deal. We keep hearing that they are going to, and when I say they, I do mean Israel, and I do mean Iran. I do mean Hezbollah. I do mean the Houthis, all of them. But then it ends up happening again, where Lebanon fires on Israel. Israel defends itself. Donald Trump then starts yelling at Israel again and yelling at Benjamin Netanyahu, which is what happened yesterday as well. They say the announcements come after President Trump on Monday demanded that both sides stop shooting. In a subsequent post on social media, Trump said that the countries wanted a ceasefire and negotiations towards a peace agreement were proceeding, subject, the president said, to ignorance or stupidity getting in the way. And one of the things, and this is part of the headlines, one of the things that Donald Trump apparently said to Benjamin Netanyahu was that Israel could actually lose the support from America. I told Bibi, the president said, this is a quote from Israel's Channel 12, I told Bibi, you better be very careful what you do because you could be left alone against Iran very soon. So, but Donald Trump is basically telling Benjamin Netanyahu, if you keep this up, it is up to you to deal with Iran. It is up to you to deal with Lebanon. It is up to you to deal with the Houthi rebels. You deal with all of this. We're out. We're going to tap out. That is what Donald Trump apparently said to Benjamin Netanyahu. And also in the reporting, it looks like Trump is clearly taking Iran's side in all of this and positioning Israel as the ones that provoked the most recent fighting, which is crazy since Israel was attacked by Hezbollah. And so it does appear that we are maybe fracturing with Israel. There is a New York Times article that accused Israel of spying on U.S. officials. Did you hear this? Now, I'm not going to feign surprise at this. They spy on us and we spy on them. And if we're not spying on them, well, then shame on us. But apparently, this New York Times article accusing Israel of spying on U.S. officials regarding the negotiations with Iran. And this includes Steve Witkoff. Apparently, we found surveillance software on phones, and they've been spying on U.S. officials from the administration and the Pentagon specifically.
Isn't this a story, though, Dan, that we hear all the time? The media is so focused on writing stories about how Israel is not our friend.
Yep.
And that we're so duped by Israel, and they're always spying on us. I mean, you hear they roll it out once every couple of years.
Well, the media doesn't like Israel, and that's a great point.
Yep.
Joan. The media doesn't like Israel. Clearly, the Democrats don't like Israel. And so the question is, what has really happened? I fully expect Israel to spy on us. We're spying on Israel, too. I mean, clearly, Benjamin Netanyahu has his own agenda. Now, our agenda and their agenda, and, you know, we can sort of coincide with our agendas, but the reality is that we need to know what they're doing, and they need to know clearly what we're doing. Do I like that Israel is spying on us? No. You'll notice that J.D. Vance, he was on Fox News, and he was asked about this from Jesse Waters, and he just glossed right over it.
So how concerned are you about Israel spying on the United States and freelancing in Lebanon?
Well, look, I think obviously the Israelis and the United States, we have a lot of shared interests, but we also have some situations where our interests diverge. And I think where the president has been very clear here is that while Israel obviously has some objectives that it has, the United States' main objective in Iran is to ensure that Iran does not have a nuclear weapon. And we've actually, thanks to what's happened over the last few months, but really over the last year and a half, we've created the space necessary where the president believes, and I think that he's right, that we can get the long-term settlement to Iran's nuclear deal.
All right, so J.D. Vance clearly has nothing to say about Israel spying on us. Is it a big deal? Yeah, I think it's a big deal. The other thing that I would say is, okay, so, and let's all be honest, Israel is very good at spying. And so my question would be, if there's anybody within the Trump administration that is surprised by this, all you got to do is look it up. Israel has been spying on us for years and years and years and years. So yes, the media has it in for Israel. Yes, the media is always trying to cause a divide between Israel and America. But at the same time, yeah, I'm not surprised that they're spying on us. What's disappointing is that we are allowing them to spy on us. Our defenses should be up even against Israel. And by the way, the other thing is when J.D. Vance, he's talking about the deal between Iran and America, Israel may not like the deal. Well, that wouldn't surprise me, because realize that when the deal finally happens, there's going to be a lot of people, probably most people, will actually hate the deal. And I can almost guarantee you that Israel will not like the deal.
Now, Israel may like that, they may not like that, but fundamentally, we think this is in the best interest of the United States of America. So we're going to keep on pursuing it, because that's what the President of the United States was elected to do. That's what we have to do in order to properly serve the American people.
All right, so that is the vice president. He's got a lot more to say. We've got details straight ahead, 6:15. Time to check the roads on WTN.
For the most part, things are looking good this morning. Nope. 840 running accident free. I'm Christy O'Brien.
As far as your weather goes, a flood watch through 1 o'clock today. Scattered showers and thunderstorms north of I-40. High around 87 today. Appreciate you listening to Super Talk 99.7. So from, J.D. Vance talking about how, you know what? Israel may not like the deal that America brokers with Iran. Tough noogies. Donald Trump has been basically saying the same thing. And what the president has been saying, our president has been saying the last couple of days and the last week or so, is he's been telling Benjamin Netanyahu, you know what, you're either going to work with us on a peace deal by not firing on Lebanon, even in self-defense, so that I can hammer out a deal. And so between what Trump is saying and what J.D. Vance is saying, it sounds like the official administration response to Israel is, you know what? We don't really care what you think about the negotiated deal. The deal is going to be the deal. Now, remember, again, yesterday Trump said that Bibi wasn't calling the shots. It was Donald Trump and America. We are calling the shots. And Donald Trump, not only did he say that in public, but that's what he also told Benjamin Netanyahu behind the scenes. Now we find out this morning, he's also telling Netanyahu, you know what? At some point, you may be on your own when it comes to Iran. Remember that Israel has the ability to shoot down a lot of these rockets that are coming in from Iran. Well, they've got that Iron Dome. You know where they get the Iron Dome? America. And so I don't know if Donald Trump is actually threatening to pull our support from Israel by pulling the Iron Dome. But if that's what the president is saying, it certainly got the attention of Benjamin Netanyahu, because then he came out and he basically said, no more bombs for right now. We will defend ourselves if Hezbollah in Lebanon start doing their crap again. We'll defend ourselves if Iran starts to do what they have been doing the last couple of days again. But ultimately, we're going to keep our powder dry for another day. Now, where are we with the negotiations? One big question we've all had is this question that Iran is simply trying to drag out these negotiations so that Donald Trump will be feeling the pressure so that he'll eventually fold on the negotiations so that Iran can get a better deal. And also, they're dragging out these negotiations so that they can continue to work on their nuclear program. So to me, that is obviously what's going on, that Iran is doing everything that they can to drag out these negotiations to increase the pressure on Donald Trump and so that they can perhaps continue to work on that nuclear program. J.D. Vance talked about that. He says that whatever is going to happen, it will ultimately be a win for the American people.
Do you think the Iranians are trying to play us at the negotiating table?
Everybody's always trying to play everybody. I think the president's attitude on this is we have to verify, of course. One of the most important things to whether this ultimate settlement is a success is not what the Iranians write on the paper, but whether they actually comply with some of the requirements of the settlement that we come up to. I think it's very important, and this is one of the big differences. You always hear people talk about the Obama deal and what went wrong with it. The number one thing that went wrong with the Obama deal, Jesse, is that there was not a proper inspections regime to ensure that the Iranians could never build a nuclear weapon.
Yep.
And that's one of the big differences between what happened then and what the President of the United States would get to, assuming we're ultimately able to make a deal. So I don't assume that anybody's acting in good faith. Obviously, we've been very involved in these negotiations, Jesse. We're going to take the attitude of accomplish the president's mission, but verify over the long term that the Iranians are keeping their end of the bargain. It's a tall order, but it's one that the president has put us in a good position to achieve, because let's be honest, Jesse, the Iranians don't want this war to continue. It's not in their best interest. And I think they're coming to the table, putting some real things on the table. We're, of course, going to verify it. But if we get to this deal, it's going to be a home run win for the American people.
All right. So, J.D. Vance, we all know, I've covered this extensively. I don't feel like going into all the details again. But you did have a lot of issues with the Obama deal with Iran. There was the sunsetting, clearly the lack of transparency, the lack of reliable inspections. That deal also gave Iran billions and billions of dollars, and there was no parameters, no stopping them from continuing to fund terrorism. So Obama's deal was just bad, and the deal that Donald Trump is trying to strike will take care of all of those things. Main one, though, is that you can't trust Iran. And all of these points were punctuated by Brit Hume yesterday on Fox News.
Well, even if it does happen, John, you have the still fundamental question of whether any deal reached with Iran, with some regime or remnant of a regime, can be trusted. The Iranians lie, they cheat. Every word that comes out of the mouth of these Iranian officials over there, you have to regard with extreme skepticism. Yep. A lot of it is manifestly untrue, and their recent description of all the damage they did on the attack on Israel is a perfect example of it. So we still have the fundamental question of whether it's ever possible to get a verifiable deal with this regime.
I mean, he's absolutely right, and that's what I've been saying for a long time. Is just you cannot trust the Iranian regime. If it's somebody in Iran and they're in a position of power, remember that all they ever do is lie. I mean, we've been here many, many times. So Donald Trump, just to kind of encapsulate everything that I've just said, Donald Trump says we are close to a ceasefire. He just said it again, by the way, just days away from some sort of a deal. Okay. Then, of course, Hezbollah or Iran ends up firing on Israel. Israel returns fire. Donald Trump gets ticked. Everybody stops. Then we're days away from a ceasefire, and we start firing again and, just rinse and repeat, right? By the way, we're supposed to already be in a ceasefire, so I'm still cynical. I don't know how you're feeling this morning, Joan. I'm still cynical. We'll have to see. It's almost like I want to start taking bets as far as how long this current ceasefire will go, like a day, 2, 3 days, and really what defines a ceasefire? Because it's my contention that we have not been holding to this ceasefire at all. And then some people will say, well, we're not bombing or firing as much as we usually do. That means that we're in a ceasefire. Okay. Strait of Hormuz, of course, still closed, by the way. So I don't know. How long do you think this current spate of ceasefire will last?
Things are very calm this morning, Very calm.
I know.
Except that one of our helicopters went down. But that's,
Was that helicopter shot down?
So they're not saying. You can fill in the blank yourself, I guess. But
luckily, nobody killed.
Nobody killed. They were patrolling regional waters when the incident occurred. And I don't think that you were in the studio at the time that I was doing the news, but the Navy used its first ever drone task force to rescue the pilots. So a drone picked the pilots up and took them to dry land. Crazy, right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I sense an amusement park ride. at some point with drones.
Yeah. If somebody else is controlling them, maybe.
Well, here's the deal. If Iran did knock down one of our helicopters,
yes.
I mean, so much for the ceasefire, and we need to retaliate against them.
So that's kind of where I am this morning, because this may have been an act of aggression on the part of Iran, but CENTCOM isn't saying that. The president isn't saying that. The Pentagon isn't saying that.
Yeah, but if they're not saying why it crashed, then that only leads me to believe, was it mechanical failure or was it shot down?
Yeah, I mean, really, there's only those two choices.
5:25, Joan's got the news at 6:30. Joan.
Yeah, well, we have more on that story that broke open overnight about an East Nashville woman who was being mauled by 5 pit bulls in her home. Got that story coming up here at 6:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan. Dan Mandis here. So many people, maybe even you, living with cataracts, and maybe you don't even realize how much it is affecting your everyday life. Now, the good news is the fix is quick, and it all begins with a personalized consultation with Dr. Horn and the Vision Pros at Vision for Life. So listen, friends, if you've been dealing with blurry or cloudy vision, glare or halos around lights and colors that just don't seem as bright as they used to, well, those are all signs of cataracts. And for a lot of people, driving becomes difficult as well, even dangerous, especially at night. Some people even experience double vision with one eye. Bottom line is, friends, if you have cataracts, you need to get it taken care of. Dr. Horn is the person for you. You don't have to live like this. Cataract surgery these days, it is fast, it is painless, and the results can be truly life-changing. So don't wait. Call Dr. Horn. Tell him Dan Mandis told you to reach out. That phone number is 615-436-2020, 615-436-2020. Find them online anytime. It is visionforlife.com to schedule your cataract evaluation with Dr. Horn today and find out if you qualify. 615-436-2020, visionforlife.com, and start seeing clearly again.
Good morning. It's now 6:31. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories, and that's it for Spencer Pratt. Los Angeles City Council member Nithya Raman has officially overtaken him and will be the only challenger to Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass on the November ballot.
Certainly, you can understand it must be frustrating for Republicans to see a lead of 40,000 plus votes for Spencer Pratt on election night, and then every single day when new votes come in, that lead shrinks. President Trump has been saying for days now that he outright believes it's rigged. And again, he hasn't presented any evidence of that. And we have certainly not seen any evidence of that. This is following a long-standing trend in California vote counting that goes back quite a long time.
That is ABC's Trevor Alt reporting. Nashville police have shot and killed 5 pit bull dogs overnight after responding to a phone call from neighbors who said they could hear a woman screaming from inside her home. Here's Channel 4's Joylyn Bukovac.
Police officers responded just after midnight to reports of a woman screaming. This is near 14th Avenue North and McKinney Avenue. And when they arrived, they say that they could hear someone inside the home in distress. And that's when they found those 5 dogs attacking that woman. Investigators say officers opened fire to stop the attack, killing all 5 dogs. And that woman was rushed to the hospital with serious injuries. And right now, police have not released the identity of that woman.
Yeah, but we do know she suffered serious injuries and is in the hospital. That, by the way, was Channel 4's Joylyn Bukovac. We'll update you on the information that we get as it comes in this morning. A truck traveling on I-75 in Hamilton County went up in flames and sparkles on Saturday night. It was carrying fireworks and put on quite a display as it was burning up. Now we can only joke about it because nobody was injured in the truck or fighting the fire, thank goodness. But we have learned this morning that Tennessee Highway Patrol has now cited the fireworks trailer driver on several violations, including lack of hazardous materials registration. The driver didn't have a hazardous materials endorsement, and the truck didn't have a U.S. DOT number. That is the latest news, traffic and weather. Next, I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Thank you, Joan. 633, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. You know, I always recommend Mark Spain Real Estate to my friends here in Middle Tennessee because I trust they are going to sell your home hassle-free with a strong all-cash offer. As a matter of fact, with Mark Spain Real Estate, they sell over 4 homes every single hour, making them the most experienced real estate team in America. You can trust them to sell your home hassle-free and for maximum value. Mark Spain Real Estate is the #1 most reviewed real estate company in America. They've got over 13,000 5-star reviews. That's right, 13,000 5-star reviews. You can trust my friends at Mark Spain Real Estate to sell your home fast and for maximum profit. So call them at 855-299-SOLD, 855-299-SOLD, or go to markspain.com. That's markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today and start packing.
Okay, so we have delays this morning on 24 westbound starting in Laverne. It's typical stuff all the way into Nashville this morning. Very slow as well at the merge of 24 and 65 as you're coming in from the north. And looks like traffic begins to slow down on 40 heading westbound right around the airport area. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.638 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to your friends. Hope you are doing well. And good morning to Matthew Hurt, grassroots political analyst. Matthew, always great to have you on. Boy, it's primary day in Maine. So I guess it's really the day for the Democrats to decide how low they're willing to go. We don't have to relitigate all of the horror show that is Graham Plattner. But what do you think's going to happen?
The crazy thing, Dan, is Janet Mills is still on the primary ballot. So this is going to be the thing to watch. She's not actually running. She's the governor of Maine, but she's still on the primary ballot in this race for U.S. Senate. And so I think the thing to watch will be the people who didn't vote for Graham Plattner in the primary. There are a total of three candidates on the ballot for the primary and a write-in candidate in this race. And so you've got to, if you're a Democrat consultant or a strategist out of Washington, D.C., and Graham Plattner gets below 80% in this race, you've got to be wondering what is going on. And I think they still have until early July to actually remove someone from the ballot. I don't think we can count shenanigans out between primary day and the final filing deadline for the general election, particularly if calls continue to come in for him to be thrown to the wolves. I think the Atlantic had a piece yesterday written by David Frum saying, release Graham Plattner. So it'll be interesting. And then there are a couple of other states that have got some pretty interesting primaries as well.
So my question on the Plattner thing, a couple of things just real quick, is it's like day after day, there is yet another indication that the guy has done something horrific, lying, sexting, the whole thing. Does it say anything, like when we go into the midterm elections, is this something that politically the Republicans can take advantage of, or is it just like nobody really truly cares about character any longer?
There are two or three things that you would consider heading into a general election. There is good information about your candidate that would boost turnout, that would drive up turnout. And then there's bad information about your opponent that would suppress turnout or cause someone to not go to the polls and vote in that election. And so the scope of Graham Plattner negative information would be used from here until November to keep Democrats home. And so the question for Republican consultants is, do Democrats in Maine hate Donald Trump more than they hate the allegations, real and imagined, about Graham Plattner? And you would see millions of dollars in ads spent to keep Democrats home, to have them not go out and vote or skip that part of the ballot. People who would just be absolutely disgusted with the news but are lifelong Democrats might go in and vote the rest of the ballot and skip this one.
All right, so here's my question. Do you believe that if there was an equally as horrifying Republican candidate, and Ken Paxton is not that person, but if there was an equally as horrifying Republican candidate, do you think Republicans would stay home? What do you think Republicans would do in a situation like a Graham Plattner?
We actually have a similar situation in the last several years. Your listeners may remember it's similar in the sense that it was a distasteful candidate. Roy Moore in Alabama was thrown to the wolves by national Republicans because of his strident religious views. Obviously, very different level of allegations than Graham Plattner, but the National Republican Senatorial Committee actually just like released him and didn't back him in the race. I think we've moved past that point, especially for Democrats, where it is, and you say this on the show all the time, and I've said it here, vote blue no matter who. They're those people who now they understand that government is about power and elections are about winning just enough votes to punish your political enemy. And I think Democrats really understand that. And so that's the sort of psychology we're dealing with in Maine. A lot of Democrats are going to go and vote for him because it means defeating Susan Collins and impeaching Donald Trump next year.
All right, to Los Angeles we go, where Spencer Pratt now is officially out in the mayor's race. Karen Bass coming in at number 1, Nathia Rahman coming in at number 2. Pratt is now officially out, I guess. And so there's a number of different ways to look at this. I mean, conservatives, Republicans screaming, hijinks and shenanigans, bloody murder, the whole thing, because you had Spencer Pratt solidly at number 2 on election night, and then it's like a slow bleed over the last week or so, where this massive amount of mail-in ballots came in for Nathia Rahman. From what I understand, I saw this on social media, so it must be true, Matthew Hurt, that Nathia Rahman didn't even win her own district. Yet here we are with this avalanche of mail-in ballots for Nathia Rahman, beating even Karen Bass, apparently. So there's a couple of thoughts here. Number one is, I don't know, what do you think about the whole notion of these mail-in ballots? Donald Trump is talking about how it's rigged. I believe that it is rigged. Whether or not we're talking about illegalities is a different conversation. But the way that California votes, it's just very easy to cheat. That's number one. But if you're a Democrat in California and you're looking at the primary, and you've got Karen Bass at the top of the ticket, and you've got Nathia Rahman and Spencer Pratt. A lot of people out there, Harry Enton being one on CNN, saying that Karen Bass would much rather have run against Spencer Pratt than Nathia Rahman. So if it's the Democrats' hijinks and shenanigans, well, that's not really consistent, because if it were the Democrats sort of, tipping the scales in the favor of Karen Bass, they would have allowed Spencer Pratt to be number 2 because they believe that Karen Bass would have beat him. But it's my contention that Spencer Pratt, I believe that they see that he is lightning in a bottle, and he absolutely destroyed her during the debate. So I think that I could make an argument that Spencer Pratt is as much of a threat to Karen Bass as Nathia Rahman. I'm gonna ask you. I realize that was a really long-winded question, and I've got to go to traffic. So let me go to traffic, and then I'm going to let you respond. Coming up, 6:45. Time to check the roads.
For the most part, things we're looking at this morning. No problems on 24 or 40. No unusual delays on 65 or 440. 840 running accident-free. I'm Christy O'Brien.
Flood watch through 1 o'clock this afternoon. Scattered showers and thunderstorms north of I-40 mainly, and a high around 87. All right, Matthew Hurt, again, long-winded question. I apologize. It's sometimes, sadly, what I do. But what do you think about that? Who would Karen Bass and the Democrat machine in Los Angeles and in California, who would they rather have Karen Bass run against, Nathia Rahman or Spencer Pratt?
Well, so there's a couple of levels of to your long question just a moment ago. I think the most applicable thing here, the most recent answer, is that Karen Bass would very likely prefer to run against Spencer Pratt. I think if you put a Republican on the ballot and a Democrat on the ballot in Los Angeles in November, 9 times out of 10 the Democrat is going to win. But in the beginning of your question, you mentioned, are there shenanigans and hijinks? Is it rigged? And is the rigged legal or illegal? The situation in California makes it almost impossible for people to be completely confident about the electoral outcome. And that isn't to say that an election is rigged. However, Nithya Raman is very well connected with homeless groups, and if everyone gets a ballot in Los Angeles, including people of no fixed address, which is what we call homeless people in sort of the legal system of no fixed address, then these nonprofits, quote-unquote nonpartisan nonprofits, can then go and turn out the vote. They may not say vote for Nithya Raman, but they may harvest ballots. Ballot harvesting is legal in California. Yep. And they may go out and let's say there's a particular stretch of sidewalk on Skid Row in Los Angeles where there are 35 people living in tents. Well, now they each get a ballot. There's some range of drug addict to mentally ill. Somebody helps them fill out their ballot. They all happen to vote for Nithya Raman, and then those ballots are held and then mailed to where the stamp, the mailer's cancellation stamp says they were mailed on Election Day, and now 7 days after the election, we're dealing with a universe of 400,000 uncounted votes at the middle of last week, and now down to about 100,000, where 9 out of 10 of those ballots were cast for Nithya Raman.
One of the things, as you look at what's going on in California, and you see how bad of shape Los Angeles is in, yet, and it was the Democrat Party, of course, years of the Democrat Party that has brought California, in my estimation, to ruin. And it is just baffling to me that they'll continue down this road. I'm telling you, Matthew Hurt, I don't know when the last time you were in Los Angeles. It is an absolute crap hole. And so I think this is just another indication, we're talking about earlier, blue no matter who. I just think this is an indication that California in Los Angeles, they just don't care about how their city and their state has, gone to crap. They're just going to keep voting for the same party that brought them to this place.
Well, and Dan, think about this. You're headed into the general election. 25% of voters voted for Spencer Pratt in Los Angeles. And now your option is a woman who hung out with Fidel Castro in Cuba, Karen Bass, or someone who's even further to the left. So it would be laughable if it wasn't so sad. And this is also a problem that I have with the top 2 jungle primary. It does not give voters a real chance, a real difference in the general election, except, and I hate to make this joke, but I say it all the time with political friends, in a situation like this where it's Karen Bass and Nithya Raman, would you rather die of brain cancer or liver cancer? Like that is just how bad it is.
Yeah, it is. And I have a hard time understanding the Democrat mentality. I do. We have seen this ever since I've been watching politics. You see these cities that are having a really hard time, crappy schools, high crime, on and on and on. Memphis comes to mind here. And yet you see these communities voting in the same lawmakers and the same party that brought them to this mess. It is so incredibly frustrating. One other thing real quick, we got to go, but you do have the Save America Act, of course, the Republicans in the Senate, John Thune, refusing to bring it to a vote. You have a situation where he's not going to eliminate the filibuster because, and I was talking to Hans von Spakovsky the other day, it's just clear that they don't even have the numbers. The Republicans don't have the numbers in the Senate to eliminate the filibuster because you have the same 4 Republican senators, and we're talking about Mitch McConnell, who doesn't even know where the hell he is. You've got Mitch McConnell and some of these other senators, Lisa Murkowski and Susan Collins, and I forget who the last one is. But they would not vote to eliminate the filibuster. So it's pretty clear that the Republicans don't even have the numbers. If John Thune wanted to call to eliminate the filibuster, Republicans just don't have the numbers.
I mean, Dan, you said it pretty well there. I think 4 Republicans peeled off. It tapped out at maxed out at 48 votes. Yes, so I think that issue is probably dead for this session.
And by the way, that's only the 4 that we know, because I think that there's a lot of Republicans that secretly would not want this to go to a vote in the Senate, because then they would have to actually make a decision and take a stand on the filibuster, eliminating the filibuster or not. I think there's a lot of senators who are talking a big game and saying, yeah, we need to do this. But when the crap gets real, they actually would not want to do it.
Yeah, and that happens a lot in Washington and in Nashville. You have legislators who don't actually want a floor vote. That's why you get voice votes in committees and procedural motions to confuse and obfuscate, because most Americans aren't paying attention. They know if a bill is going to make it to the Senate floor, but they don't know the process and the procedure that takes place, and all the rules that are deliberately made to make it harder to get things across the finish line.
All right, Matthew, did we miss anything?
That is all we have time for, Dan. Your listeners can find me on X at Matthew Hurt, MattheWHurtt.
All right, thank you, and we'll talk again soon. Matthew Hurt. You notice how, hey, Joan, you'll love this. You notice even Matthew is cognizant of the clock that I refuse to pay attention to? He's like, but Dan, we don't have time. You think the boss is like calling him and saying, would you please, when you're a guest, try to just, confine him to the
an
clock?
Extra 5, yeah.
Whatever. All right, it is 6:52. Joan, what's coming up in the news at 7?
Yeah, a woman who is accused of threatening a Nashville preschool is now behind bars. We've got that story coming up here at 7 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Yeah, that rain we got yesterday really has me thinking about the beach, Bibi HVAC. Well, not only do they want to save you money on AC service, but yes, once again this summer, they want to send you on a beach vacation. They're doing this every year, it seems like now. Right now, you buy any new home AC unit, you are entered to win a 3-day beach getaway. Bibi is going to pay for your gas, lodging, and a couple of meals every single day. Check out all the details at BibiHVAC.com. And while you're there, check out all of their great deals as well. They're saving you money with 10% off their deluxe air duct cleaning package or 5% off the middle tier. So you're saving money and cleaning the air inside of your home. If you want to become a Beehive member, you've got to check that out as well. I've been a Beehive member for years. Save money in the long run by maintaining your HVAC system along the way. Save money on plumbing work as well. Take $100 off any service over $500 or 10% off select water filtration systems. Call them, tell them Dan told you to reach out, 615-775-7833, BibiHVAC.com. Yeah, that rain we... Credit card interest rates are now over 29%, and most people are only making the minimum payments, so they're getting nowhere. Dan Matt is here, and a lot of homeowners simply don't realize that using the equity in your home, you can easily access hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash and pay off those high interest loans. With Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan, you can pay off your credit cards, your existing HELOC, and your car loans, or get money for that home improvement project. Now, one client going through Loan Pronto just got $100,000 approved and saved over $1,500 every single month. And you can can do it all from your phone with zero out of pocket, no hard credit pull up front, no appraisal, no long drawn out bank process, and no touching that first mortgage. Now, right now, rates are at near 3-year lows, so you've got to act right now. Go to loanpronto.com to see how much money you can get in about 60 seconds. Loan Pronto 2800 5-star Google reviews, can't be wrong. Call them, tell them Dan told you to reach out. 615-499-5780. 615-499-5780. LoanPronto.com. That's LoanPronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781, and MLSConsumerAccess.org. Well, summertime is on its way. Of course, the heat has already begun. And if you're noticing that your electricity bills are up, well, that's because you've got perhaps energy efficient windows. My friends at Window Nation, they can help you get new energy efficient windows at a great price. If you're thinking about upgrading your home, Window Nation is the place you've got to call. Right now, buy 4 windows, get 4 windows free. That sale is going on right now. You could literally replace all the windows in your home and get half of them for free. You could also, by the way, get 0 down payment, no payments or interest for 2 years. Window Nation. Now, these folks can help you. They've got an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. And they can also offer you a 50-point inspection of every window before it leaves the factory. They've got a 96% customer satisfaction rating and over 45,000 5-star reviews. And don't forget about that great deal going on right now. Buy 4 windows, get 4 windows free. You could also get 0 down payment and no payments or interest for 2 years. Find them online, set up your appointment, windownation.com. That's windownation.com. Window Nation is a proud partner of the Wounded Warrior Project. .659 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk and 99.7 WTN. Super Text line is open. Very active, by the way, this morning. Thank you.
You know what I'd like right now?
What's that, Joan?
A nice glass of cold, fresh water. Just very good, fresh water.
Are you asking me to get you some water? Or, is this the joke that you two... Okay, so here's the dynamic of the radio program as we wrap up this hour, is I have to go to the bathroom like really bad, and I'm doing the pee-pee dance. And so Sam and I are talking about that. He told you, and now you're making fun of me.
Oh, I'm not making fun of you,
These
Dan.
segments, I don't know, they're
I
becoming...
didn't have to tell her. She could see you.
They're becoming... Because Joan and I are FaceTiming, and I was... Okay. Anyway.
I need another minute before I go on with the news. Would that be all right?
Sam, if you really wanted to be funny, you could have actually played a sound effect of like a waterfall. If you really wanted to do this bit right, that's what you could have done.
Yeah.
With men of a certain age, I didn't want to accidentally trigger anything.
Chris would come in here. What in the world happened? Anyway, moving right along. 7 o'clock on WTN.
Good morning. It is now 7 o'clock, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. A U.S. helicopter has crashed near the Strait of Hormuz. Reuters reporting this was an Apache gunship. It's not clear if the chopper was shot down by Iranian fire or experienced mechanical failure. President Trump speaking last night about the 2 pilots who were on board.
The pilots are fine, yeah.
And
nobody injured. We are going to issue a report tomorrow. But the pilots are fine, yeah.
ABC News' Martha Raddatz with more on that.
We do not know whether this helicopter was shot down or whether this was mechanical difficulty, but these Apache helicopters have been aggressively patrolling the Strait of Hormuz looking for Iranian small boats. This comes in a part of a very high tension, and it has gone back down again in the last few days.
Yeah, the rescue was carried out by Navy and Air Force assets, she said, from what's called the Task Force 59. That's the Navy's first ever drone task force. An unmanned Navy surface vessel, a drone boat, was sent to pick up the downed crew. That crew was able to climb aboard the boat, which then delivered them to the shore. All of this happened within 2 hours of the helicopter going down. Other news of the morning, a close call for a family in Lebanon after a bullet fired off in one apartment became lodged in a baby's crib in the apartment next door. We brought the story to you yesterday, but now Channel 4's Brendan Tierney speaks with the baby's family. This happened at Limestone Trail Complex in Lebanon.
The family told me at least one of them could have easily been killed if they'd been home when that bullet flew into their apartment. They didn't feel comfortable talking with me on camera, but let me inside their home to capture these images of the bullet holes in the wall. It bounced around 4 different rooms before landing in a crib. Neighbors told me this is their last straw, and they're moving out because of the safety issues.
There is a lot of unruly children here. My son doesn't even come outside because of it, and there's never parents out here.
Police say the 14-year-old was kicking and spitting on officers as they arrested him for shooting the stolen gun. He's now facing multiple charges.
Yeah, police said that 14-year-old's gun was stolen during a car break-in 4 days ago. A woman accused of threatening a Nashville preschool is now behind bars. This happened back in April outside Belmont Weekday School on the campus of Belmont University. Here's Channel 4's Marius Payton.
Investigators say Linda Perry was walking near the playground when a teacher heard her threaten to, quote, kill all of them, end of quote. Police were still looking for her when she was caught yesterday during an alleged shoplifting incident at the mall at Green Hills.
Now, Perry was hit with a felony charge of threatening to commit an act of mass violence. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com. Indicators are all pointing up this morning with the Dow futures falling back a little bit. Dow futures are now plus 83. That is the latest news, traffic, and weather. Next, I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. All right, so we've got an accident this morning in Creve Hall. This is 65 northbound at Harding Place, exit 78. There is a crash in the HOV lane. The HOV lane there is blocked. Joelton at Whites Creek Pike and Jackman Road. Watch there for an accident as well. You've got your normal volume delays on 24 westbound. It's also pretty slow on 65 north after Brentwood this morning, and that, of course, is because of that accident at Harding Place. Things are looking pretty good on 40 as you make your way in from the Nashville airport area. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.707 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Super text line is open 615-737-9986. 615-737 WWTN. Joan, should I talk at all about the Scott Pelley "You Should Feel Sorry for Me" tour? Because I am of the opinion that the give a crap that America has of Scott Pelley.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody really cares. This guy, he actually is now saying that he didn't realize that he could actually be fired for standing up in front of a meeting and telling off the boss. He's completely shocked that he got fired for that.
He's the smartest man in America on TV, but he didn't know that.
Yeah, I think that he is so pampered. You know, the other thing is, they talk about these, and then I'm gonna get to some data center stuff. But what I find interesting is it hard to be a 60 Minutes anchor?
You would think not.
Like, all you do is you introduce pieces. Now, I do understand that you put together packages and so forth, and you tell the cameramen and the producers to zoom in real slowly as you're taking off your glasses, like Scott Pelley did, that people were talking about.
Capture this angle.
But I think that for him to be so incredibly shocked, oh my goodness, that I got fired, everybody should feel sorry for me. No. And by the way, he's got a new book coming out. I don't even know.
Of course he does.
I don't even know what the name of the book is, but I think that is also part of this. He wanted to get some. I think he wasn't happy with the new managers, and he wanted to get fired. He wanted to get some publicity. Now he gets to go on this, hey, feel sorry for me. Donald Trump arranged for me to get fired thing, which is the little tour that he's going on. And I believe it is to promote his book. I really don't care about Scott Pelley. I never have. I think the guy is the definition of blowhard.
Yeah.
So, but I'm also not going to.
But there's something very gratifying about watching him do these after firing interviews because he's out of a job, and I don't know. There is something slightly gratifying about watching him go around and do this tour.
See, I was just going to say, I don't relish in other people's misfortune. And then Joan just jumps right in. I love watching him squirm and cry.
Yeah.
I think more people agree with you, Joan.
But I don't think he has any misfortune at all. It's not as if he's going to miss a meal. He's not going to be standing in the pantry line. He's not going to miss a mortgage payment. So and that's not, I'm not setting up a class warfare kind of thing, but clearly he's not me and you, that if we lost our jobs, we might have trouble holding on to our homes or, that's not the situation we're talking about. And he did himself in.
Yeah.
So,
do you know how many people would love to be in Scott Pelley's position?
Yeah,
hey, look up how much is Scott Pelley worth? I'm just curious.
We know he made $5 million a year to be a.
Yeah.
Is that what he was making on 60 Minutes?
Yeah.
All right. Well, whatever. I don't really.
Oh, but his total net worth is around $18 million.
Joan, I think he's going to be okay.
I think he's going to be fine.
I think he's going to be okay. We don't need to do a GoFundMe for Scott Pelley.
You might want to move out of New York. That's where he's been.
Is that where he lives?
I mean, would imagine that's where all the TV.
I'm waiting for Mamdani to do a video outside of Scott Pelley's house.
He has a condo in Manhattan, a mansion in Connecticut, and a 24-acre ranch in Texas.
All right, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, go to Texas. You might learn something. All right, 7-Eleven, Nashville's Morning News. Do you know how many people have now signed, Joan, this petition to stop the data center next to the zoo?
Oh, yeah. How
It's
many
like
now?
335,000 have now
I'm not
signed
shocked.
this petition. Yesterday, I thought we had some great discussions with both John Rose, candidate for governor, and Courtney Johnston from Metro City Council. It is her district. She called it a crap show, as a matter of fact. You know, in the midst of this story blowing up, I did ask John Rose yesterday, got some video here. I did ask John Rose what he thought about the whole thing regarding data centers. This is what he said.
Data centers are not all created equal, and they're not meant for every place. And so I think there's a very significant local factor here, like you see happening next to the zoo, of this may not be the appropriate place. And I think we want to let local leaders have a big say in determining what happens. So some data centers are good, probably things we should welcome in our state. Some are bad.
Yep, some are bad. A lot of people are saying they're bad. A vast majority of people are telling me that they do not support the data center next to the zoo. I think a lot of people just have a soft spot for the zoo. He's got some receipts, by the way, but you know, the zoo data center might bring all of like 25 jobs. So we'll see if the whole thing goes through. But, you know, as he was saying yesterday on this show, you know, some of these data centers will bring in thousands of jobs and others will bring in just a handful. But there's a big old battle going on right now regarding this data center.
Let me give you kind of a contrast from what I've seen. A data center up on the plateau in you know, eastern part of the state is the number 2 user of electricity in that area. The number 1 user of electricity is the manufacturing facility that has over 1,000 jobs. The data center creates 8 jobs. That's probably a case that the local community and leaders in that area and the energy, you know, in terms of assessing whether it makes sense to devote that much electric capacity to that one data center, I think that makes that probably a pretty clear call that maybe that wasn't the best choice. But then we might compare that to Colossus One in Memphis, Elon Musk's supercomputer, which has created 2,000 or 3,000 jobs in not only the creation but the operation of that, and puts Tennessee in an enviable place of having the most powerful supercomputer in the world. I think that might be an example of one that is worth figuring out. How can we make this work? And as you know, and you've probably talked about, that supercomputer, Musk has built a lot of the power generation necessary to run it and is processing the brown water from Memphis, Shelby County sewage system to cool it. So it's an example of a place where it's probably a win. And so I think we've just got to look at these carefully.
Yeah, that is Congressman John Rose. Not all data centers are the same. Some bring massive jobs and massive ROI, others not so much to the community. One of the things that Rose brought up yesterday is he brought up Tennessee values, which was a recurring theme. Others basically just want to look at the ROI, and that's it, the return on investment. And as I said yesterday to both Courtney Johnston and John Rose, I think that there is a lot of people that enjoy the accoutrements of AI, but there's a lot of people that are very side-eye and suspicious of artificial intelligence for a number of reasons. Number one is because these data centers, but number two is because of all of the negative publicity regarding artificial intelligence taking jobs and all of that as well. I was really impressed. Well, let me do this real quick. Let me check traffic. Then I'm going to tell you what really impressed me about the conversation with John Rose. That is straight ahead, 7:15. Time to check the roads on WTN.
Parting place, an accident blocks the HOV lane. Watch for emergency crews on the scene. Jolton, Whites Creek Pike, we've got an accident at Jackman Road. No problems on 24.
716 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Appreciate you listening. One of the things, Joan, that really impressed me about John Rose was that, remember in the 5 o'clock hour yesterday, we were talking about how there's a lot of negative media on these AI and data centers. And then we talked about how China was perhaps where a lot of that negative media was coming from here in America.
Yeah.
You know, anti-AI propaganda in America, because we are in a race with China to be the top leader, the developer of AI for the world here in America, and we're racing China. I was actually impressed that John Rose knew about that.
Oh, good. I'm glad he did.
Yeah, he said, he brought it up. He said, don't forget that a lot of this negative propaganda against AI in America could be coming from China, because China wants to beat us in AI. Right now, we are winning the AI race, just like we're winning the space race against China. But you still have a lot of people that are against AI, and you do still have a lot of people that are against these data centers. And so I think that for this particular data center, I don't think that I've spoken to anybody or even heard from anybody who has actually said that they are against data centers, generally speaking. As Courtney Johnston said yesterday, and I've got some audio from her coming up, data centers, like it or not, man, they're here to stay.
Yeah.
And AI, like it or not, it's here to stay.
And you know what? I was saying this, my husband and I were talking about this. He's one of those people that, you know, he hates technology. And so he's always saying technology sucks. But we may not like what happens with these data centers and how much water they consume and light they emit and all that. But we need to roll with the punches here. We need to be the ones that are ahead of the game, ahead of China, ahead of every other developing nation.
Yep.
We need to be the ones that are making the rules, as long as we see ourselves as the moral authority of doing so, as long as what we do is on a trajectory of, you know, legislating the moral use of these AI data centers.
Well, and I think that whether it's Marsha Blackburn, whether it is Monty Fritz, whether it's John Rose, I think that either one of those three would ensure that we do utilize AI and these data centers in the proper way. Here's a little bit more from John Rose from my interview with him yesterday. Are you satisfied with where Governor Lee has taken AI and being such a welcoming voice for that in the state of Tennessee?
You know, I would generally say I would be welcoming, with the caveats that I've already mentioned.
Yeah.
So, and I think we have to be careful from an economic development perspective when we expend tax dollars to bring these things to Tennessee. Not just with data centers, but other, offers that we make to companies to come to Tennessee. We've got to be sure that those companies match up with our values.
Yep. And again, he brought up values a lot yesterday. But, you know, I believe that he is right on this. And I think we did a Daily Dan poll yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. And it was, what was it, Sam? It was like 85% of the people said that they were against the data center next to the zoo. About 85%?
Yeah, about that.
Okay. I would be curious to know, are people against data centers, generally speaking? Like, are they for us engaging in a data center AI race with China, or do they want to just acquiesce that power to China?
A lot of people just want, they don't want any land disturbed. They don't want any of these things built. So, you know, to some people, location isn't a factor, but
they just don't like AI.
Yeah, but like, you need to, embrace it, old man. It's coming whether you like it or not.
That's the thing. We need to ensure that we are able to surpass China, not only in the space race, but also in AI. You know, you talk to some people, and maybe I'll get somebody on, but you talk to people who are like really deep into all of this. They'll talk about how this is a matter of national security.
Mm-hmm.
So
basically, you remember it was like early 2000s maybe when the Darwin people started, making fun of the Jesus fish. So then we made a bigger fish eating their fish type of thing. No, and
I don't remember
all right.
that. But
Well, point being that we want our AI to eat the other AI.
Yeah.
If you send an AI weapon our direction, we want ours to laugh at yours.
Well, and don't forget, we want our companies to provide AI to the rest of the world as well. Anyway, Courtney Johnston from Metro City Council, I had her on yesterday as well, talking about all this and how this is going. One of the things that she said, and I thought this was interesting, by the way, this is audio only, is that she didn't feel like the company that is trying to buy the property next to the zoo, she felt like they were not negotiating in good faith.
When they filed for a grading permit, that was still not even owning the property. That was when I knew that they were, in my opinion, operating in bad faith. That, to me, is very aggressive to pull grading permits, demolition, or apply for them anyway, and a building permit before they even own the property.
Yep.
Just an expedited timeline. And so that's what's caused such alarm. And you're right. It is across the board. It's been a really long time since everyone has been on the same page, and really been reaching out across all avenues to say, what can I do? And not just complain about it, but offering their expertise, offering prior experience to try to be a part of the solution to stop this. And it's not necessarily no data centers ever. Certainly there's that group of people, but mostly it's, we don't want this next to our zoo.
Yeah, one of the things, and I made mention of this several times yesterday, which this is bipartisan. Yeah, I said that to John Rose. I said this to Courtney Johnston, where it doesn't matter what side of the political aisle that you're on. Bottom line is, this seems like the one issue that has united a lot of folks. And one of the things that Courtney Johnston said was that the company wasn't being entirely truthful about the size and the scope of the data center. Listen to this.
This is not just a 69,000 square foot data center. Their own materials have a planned data center on this 23-acre site, the initial 10 megawatt data center, but there's a future 3-story, 40 megawatt data center, a dedicated substation, separate generator yards for each data center, stormwater basins, guardhouse, internal access roads, loading docks, tons of parking, utilities, fencing. I mean, this is a really big operation that they are planning, and they're minimizing it by saying, hey, look, it's just this one thing, but they're planning on phasing it.
Yeah, phasing it in. This is a far larger project than just one building, as you just heard her describe. There's a lot of other buildings and a lot of other planning involved as well. It's going to be a huge complex with not only the main data center, but it sounds like a couple of smaller data centers and a generator yard and substations and a whole lot more. So basically what she's saying is that this company is bait and switching and doing that to Nashville. And that, yes, they are planning on phasing it in. So it sounds to me, according to Courtney Johnston, what she said yesterday, that this company, they're being disingenuous in their negotiations and they're not being truthful about what this thing ultimately and eventually will be. Another interesting point in all of this is that Davidson County, I don't know how closely you listen to this, but Davidson County doesn't actually have the proper zoning classification for a data center. So what they're doing is they're categorizing it as simply an office complex, and it's not an office complex. How long has data centers been around? Can you look that up? I mean, it's been years now, hasn't it? How is it possible that the zoning commission or whatever the heck it is in Nashville actually doesn't have a proper data center classification, zoning classification?
I want you to guess, because I'm shocked by how long they've been around.
2021.
Try 80 years.
Really?
What?
Trace origins to the 1940s and 50s with massive room-sized mainframes, such as the 1946 ENIAC. Since then, they have evolved from heavily guarded military-owned machines into the sprawling cloud-based and AI-driven hyperscale facilities of today.
All right. So this is what.
So they're talking about mainframe rooms being the same thing as a data center.
They were
much different, but I get it.
But the similar, you've got a bunch of computers, lots of power, lots of constant cooling systems going up, lots of noise being had. They were built specifically for that.
Well, it sounds like the classification has not kept up with technology. So that's what we need to do. And that's the problem. What she said yesterday, Courtney said yesterday, is that the Davidson County in Nashville has a problem with being able to classify a data center as what it is in its current form.
Right now, Davidson County does not have data center as a land use defined in our code. And so they're slipping this under, categorizing it as general office. And that's what our zoning administrator has to do. If there's not a defined use, he has to fit the square peg in the round hole. And that's in general office is what they're putting this under. A data center is not a general office building. Sure, there will be some offices in there, but the main use for that property is not an office building.
All right, so as this continues to update, we will update you. It is 7:26 on Super Talk 99.7. Joan's got the news coming up at 7:30. Joan.
Yeah, there is a shocking story out there about what the United Nations employees were doing to actually help terrorists overseas. An amazing story. We've got it for you coming up here at 7:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Summertime is rapidly approaching officially, but the warmer weather is here. And the last thing you want is to be sidelined with chronic back and neck pain, knee pain as well. The Wellness Institute of Nashville, they can help you. They've always got the latest and greatest technology. And right now they've got an epic way to help you heal. It's called Medical Bay One. And it is a brand new way to heal. It was designed by Dr. Kevin Mitchell from the Wellness Institute of Nashville. He has found that our cells underneath our skin respond to photons of light. Now, Medical Bay One is described as a futuristic healing machine that massages your body while doing full body lasers, using red light technology, including near infrared. It is an amazing experience where you sit in an Artemis type medical bay and it's going to light your cells for photon healing. So launch your pain-free voyage today with the Wellness Institute of Nashville. You mention my name, you get access to Medical Bay One and get $33 off of each visit. Epic savings for an epic way to heal. $33 off each visit when you mention my name. 615-246-5009 is the phone number. Tell them Dan Mandis told you to reach out. 615-246-5009. Painisbad.com.
Good morning. It's now 7:32, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Breaking news, Metro Nashville police have shot and killed 5 dogs that have been attacking a woman inside an East Nashville home.
Yeah, investigation is still ongoing. We just found out it was 5 pit bulls that attacked the woman inside of this home. Now, she was the homeowner, but that woman is in the hospital this morning recovering from serious injuries. But Metro police say this all started when a neighbor heard a woman needing help inside of that home, and when they forced their way in, they saw 5 dogs attacking that woman.
Channel 4's Joylyn Bukovac there. Metro police say they have not yet identified the woman. President Trump insisting the ceasefire is still holding between Iran and Israel, saying that peace talks continue. Here's Trey Yingst at Fox News.
After President Trump called on Israel and Iran to stop shooting, both sides agreed. Since then, Israel has continued to operate against Iran-backed Hezbollah in Lebanon, launching new strikes overnight and issuing fresh evacuation orders this morning. With questions about if the ceasefire could be broken again, international attention remains on the Strait of Hormuz, where the U.S. naval blockade of Iranian ports is expected to continue. CENTCOM says U.S. forces disabled an unladen oil tanker in the Gulf of Oman on Monday after it tried to breach the blockade. An F-A-18 Super Hornet from the USS Abraham Lincoln fired a precision munition into the ship's engineering and steering rooms.
And finally this morning, what is happening at the UN? More than 100 staffers at the United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestinian Refugees have been referred for suspension or debarment from taking U.S. taxpayer dollars after a federal watchdog found that they had helped Hamas carry out the October 7th terror attacks against Israel. One of the UN staffers was a deputy school principal who also served as an Al-Qassam deputy commander. In fact, 5 employees had been teachers while also simultaneously serving as military intelligence officials in Hamas. One of those teachers even moved anti-tank missiles to assist the terror group during the October 7th massacre. There may be others, too. The Washington Free Beacon says a total of 1,500 United Nations staffers are now under investigation. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, it's Dan Mandison. Getting older is part of life, but that doesn't mean you don't go down swinging. Feeling exhausted all the time doesn't have to be. If your energy is down, your sex drive isn't what it used to be, your workouts feel harder, and your focus is off, or maybe you just don't feel like yourself anymore, well, it may be time to head to Low T Center. About 1 in 4 men over 40 do have low testosterone, and for many men, the symptoms happen so gradually you might not even notice, or maybe you just assume that it is stress, it's work-related, lack of sleep, or it's just part of aging. But it's not the case. You know, at Low T Center, providers specialize in testosterone replacement therapy. They use lab work and symptoms and health history and personal goals to create treatment plans tailored to each patient, because no 2 men are exactly alike. TRT may help support energy, focus, libido, body composition, mood, and overall quality of life, and they can help you. You don't have to settle for feeling less than your best. Check out the Low T Center. They work within most major health insurance providers and offer a free testosterone test for men who want answers. Visit fixmylowt.com and book your appointment today. That's fixmylowt.com. Tell them Dan Mandis told you to reach out.
Yeah, they're still working that accident scene on 65 North in Creve Hall this morning. The left shoulder is blocked off at Harding Place. That's exit 78. And the traffic center says right now there's a secondary crash on the right shoulder. So things are pretty much a mess in that area. You may need to find a new way to get around that. Jolton, Whites Creek Pike at Jackman Road. That one's a crash as well. Antioch, Century Farms Parkway at William Turner Parkway, a crash. And in Two Rivers on Briley Parkway northbound, the off-ramp to Opry Mills, that's a stalled out vehicle and it's partially blocking off the off-ramp. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
$7:39 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Joan, you're talking about the United Nations Relief and Works Agency.
Sure am.
So anybody who's listened to me for any length of time knows that I've been on, they call them UNRWA. I've been on this for so long. Do you know, so just for people that are just joining us, so this is the United Nations Relief and Works Agency, and they've been busted now for helping Hamas. So talk a little bit about what you reported just a few minutes ago. One of the other things that they have done is they will help Hamas. I don't know if this was part of your story, but they will help Hamas hide rocket launchers.
Yeah.
In schools.
Yeah.
And hospitals. This is what they do. This is the United Nations.
What they found was that these are UN staffers who are serving as school principals and teachers, yet they were also out there as one of them was an Al-Qassam deputy commander.
Yep.
One of them actually helped to move an anti-tank missile to assist the terror group during the October 7th attack. Like, actually helped a massacre.
Yep.
And these are UN staffers.
They kill over 1,000 Jews.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, Joan. This is not new. Like, I know your story has an update, but we've known this for years.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember talking about this back when I was on in middays. This has been going on. So everybody knows. So people always wonder, oh, why does Donald Trump hate the UN? Well, there's this.
Yeah. Here's I don't know if he's speaking English here, but let me run this audio real quick. No, he's not. This is a student, a Palestinian student in one of the UNRWA schools. With Allah's help, we will return, and those Jews who are dogs will smash their heads.
Nice.
Yeah, and that's what UNRWA is helping. We talk about the teachers that's what those teachers are teaching these kids.
Yeah, that's the mentality that they foster. And that's why I'm sorry, but I don't get all upset when Israel has to go in hard against Hamas.
And I don't get upset when anybody talks about us pulling out of the UN, because the UN is definitely not on the United States side, nor is it on the side of humanity in general.
No, it is. I'm not surprised by any of this, but so there is that story. Did you see what happened last night in New York? So Mamdani, he decides, because, they got the Knicks are in, I guess it's called the NBA Finals. So the Knicks are in the NBA Finals. And there's a couple of things going on. Number one, and you and I spoke about this before the show, Joan, where there's all this controversy about Donald Trump going to the game.
It's the craziest thing. The president's not allowed to go to a game. Are you serious? You would think, now, you know that if this was Biden going or Obama going, there'd be celebrations in the streets and welcoming.
They would be like throwing out the first ball or whatever happens at basketball games. Do they do that in basketball games?
I don't think so. I don't know.
No, whatever. Anyway, so there is actually a reporter I don't have the audio, but there is a reporter that actually sort of accusatorily asked Donald Trump, do you have any idea how much your ticket was and how the vast, vast majority of Americans could not afford the ticket that you purchased for this game. And I love what Trump said. Trump said, well, that's the way it goes. I mean, we live in America.
I just love that response.
Yes. I mean, some people have the money to do these things and some people don't. And there's other people saying Donald Trump is not a true Knicks fan.
Yes, he is. He's been a New Yorker for his whole life.
Even Whoopi Goldberg, believe it or not, came out and said, back up. Donald Trump used to go to Knicks games all the time. He's a big Knicks fan. He even name-checked, I guess, one or two of the current Knicks players, which is better than I could do. I don't care about basketball at all. But I do find it kind of funny that people are hyperventilating over Donald Trump going to a basketball game. It is so... I just find the whole thing comical.
I know why he did it. First president to ever attend an NBA Finals game.
Oh, yeah.
What's the name of the arena that they played this in?
Madison
Square Garden, of course.
Isn't it Donald Trump's Madison Square Garden now? Isn't he now trying to put his name on MSG?
So, did you hear that Stephen A. Smith went off on him?
No.
So he went off on him. You know, he shouldn't be there. On and on and on. So, so I have that audio. Hold on. And I have President Trump's response to it as well, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
So here's Stephen A. talking about it.
Strictly a basketball segment. This president has no business showing up in New York City. I am dead serious. It is selfish. It is narcissistic. It is ridiculous that he is coming to this game.
Oh, really? So it's ridiculous. All right. So
Donald Trump is no longer an American and he loses his right to go to things like basketball games.
So then last night, as he's either departing or, it says New York City. So as he's departing New York City, one of the reporters asked him about it. Here you go.
ESPN commentator Stephen A. Smith, who was talking about running for president, said he would blame you if the Knicks lost the game. How do you respond to that?
I think he's a nice guy, but you need a certain aptitude to run for president. You need a high IQ. I'm not sure that Stephen has that. I don't think he does, actually.
You know, he has been caught. Like I've caught him. Other people have caught him in saying some pretty moronic things.
Who? Stephen A. Smith?
Yeah. Stephen A. Smith. So I don't know about the whole aptitude thing, whatever. I think that Stephen A. Smith would be, if he actually tried to run for political office, I think Stephen A. Smith is one of those guys who... He is somebody who talks a big game, kind of like Pam Bondi and Kash Patel.
Yeah,
people
you're
like
right.
that.
Yeah.
They talk a big game, and then they get in a position of power and they completely freeze and they lose the moment.
I Googled Stephen A. Smith's dumbest quotes on the O.J. Simpson trial, claimed on his radio show that even though he isn't a lawyer, if he had been the prosecutor, Johnny Cochran would not have beaten him.
Oh, humility also clearly not something that Stephen A. Smith excels in. No. So he's said a lot of dumb things, and I think there's a lot of people who like to blow hard, and I think that Stephen A. Smith is one of them. And I like Stephen A. Smith. Anyway, so last night during the game, I need some audio or some video. Mayor Mamdani decided that it would be a great idea to release 5,000 tickets for people to watch the basketball game in Bryant Park, I guess, in New York. So he gives away 5,000 tickets so that people can go watch the basketball game in a park in New York. There are a lot of people who didn't get tickets. And so guess what happened? If you're watching on Super Talk TV, there is a massive brawl that is going on in New York, in Bryant Park.
Hundreds of people. The funny part about all of this, there's one guy who is dressed as a superhero who's trying to stop all of the people from fighting. And it's just, you got hundreds of people.
But he's a skinny dude and he can't do anything about it.
And there's some other guy with a tree branch. I don't know what he's trying to do with his tree branch. But it's just, obviously... lack of decorum.
There's another scene out there, and it's I see it on Freedom News TV.
Yeah,
and it's a huge fight on 42nd Street, and the people are just bashing each other. Somebody has a stop sign trying to bash other people with a stop sign. you pan over, like all these people are in this melee, you pan over, and there's like 20 cops standing there watching it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't have the brightest ideas because, his entire platform is based on the premise that, everyone's a good person, naturally at heart. So if we do nice things for people, people will be nice about it. Clearly not. He also got FIFA to repeal or to alter a rule where now whatever match they're hosting in New York, you can take water into the stadium. Because people are going to take that and go, oh, I'll just keep it to water. I won't bring any alcohol to get rowdy with, or
and when they
God forbid, potentially something else.
And when they start throwing those water bottles at the players, which I guarantee you is probably going to happen, or each other, 5,000 free tickets Mamdani dished out to Knicks fans. It is understood the violent scenes unfolded on the streets outside the viewing party, and clips posted on social media saw huge crowds of Knicks fans brawling. And
not only that, I just watched a bunch of them. They're trying to knock over street signs. So they take them and they rock them back and forth until they come out of the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Then a whole bunch of them, they've got trees in pots all along the street, breaking the trees all the way down to the stump.
Yeah.
Just destroying anything they can get their hands on.
These people are degenerates.
They're animals.
So you've got Mamdani, who's an idiot. You've got who clearly doesn't know New York because, I could have told you this was going to happen. That's number one. Number two, Joan, you're right. You've got a lot of these people who are they're animals and they're duking it out, and the whole thing ended up in violence. And by the way, one of the things that they're saying is that all of this was not part of any post-game violence like we often see. This is actually midway through. And afterwards, after all of this, there was violence in the streets as people were not able to get in. Cops had to break out the pepper spray. Mamdani, this is my favorite part, though, of the whole story. You ready? Do you know what Mamdani said? These watch parties have become a celebration of New York City itself. Yeah, this watch party pretty much defined what New York is, which is a bunch of animals prone to violence. Decorum is gone. That is what New York has turned into under Democrat rule. As massive crowds riot in the street, fight in the park, this, again, does certainly personify New York. Then, real quick, in Kansas City, I've been wanting to do this for a couple of days. Did you see what happened in Kansas City, where there was a family festival in Kansas City, and again, you've got a social media fueled massive crowd just show up and start destroying the festival. Now, if you're watching on Super Talk TV, you are seeing, and I'm going to describe it for you on the radio, and I'm just telling you, I'm not racist. There is a whole bunch of black folks. These are all young black children or young adults. Here's the other thing that I'm gonna play again. I want you to watch very closely. You have a bunch of young girls that are knocking over a police officer.
Gosh.
There's like 5 of them, and they've just jumped on this cop, and they're pushing him down to the ground. 5 girls. And they look like, I don't know, teenagers, whatever. And this is kind of a bigger cop. And they're kicking him on the ground. You've got other police officers that are helping this guy, trying to push these girls off of this cop. And they're running around. There's another one. And these girls are and these kids, these young adults, are just destroying this festival. This is like the second or third time in a row they've done this in a year. And so a few things. Number one, I find it hard to believe that police officer could not have taken those 5 girls.
Oh, yeah.
The man has, I'm assuming, the man has a baton.
A stun gun.
Yeah. And a gun. Now, I'm not suggesting that he pull out the gun, but you know what? If you've got a bunch of freaky girls that are just running all over the place and they're jumping on you, dude, use the damn baton.
He looks a little old.
What?
The cop. He looked a little old. I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt that.
Well, then, you know what? You're not too old to swing a baton.
That's true, but
you're not too old to pull a trigger on a stun gun. You know what? You only got to, Joan, back me up on this. You only need to beat the hell out of one of them.
No.
And then the rest of them are going to go away.
We're past that
with
point.
Bullies.
No,
but,
if he deployed that taser on one of those girls, the rest of them would have started stomping on his head. I mean,
then use the baton. Then use the baton and crack their head open. I am so sick. The fatigue is real.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree.
The fatigue is real, and I'm so sick. And you people know what I'm talking about. You go online and you see these flash mobs of violence. Do you remember? Hey, Joan, I hate this comment where people say, I am old enough to remember, but I'm old enough to remember when these flash mobs would be a bunch of people singing in a mall. Now you've got flash mobs of violence.
Yes.
And I'm tired of it.
For those days.
Can we no longer have family festivals? Can we no longer have family festivals without getting overrun by a bunch of unruly kids with no parental guidance whatsoever and cops that are afraid to do a damn thing?
It's not even the festivals. I mean, you had down in Florida, gubernatorial candidate Fishback was talking about, they just show up. Whether it's social media coordinated or what, they just show up in groups.
Yeah. They coordinate on social media.
Yeah, his idea, by the way, I love, was just let's send in armed civilians. It'll dissipate pretty quickly.
By the way, these people show up with bear spray. They're spraying people. They're destroying tables, attacking cops with the bear spray, damaging property and cars as well. My favorite part, this one line, you ready? Several juveniles were detained and released to guardians.
Oh, give me a stinking break.
So far, no one has been charged. The fatigue is real. I want to see, and people might, say that I'm advocating for violence. No, actually, what I'm doing is I'm advocating stopping the violence by giving these kids some consequences. And maybe they won't do it again. Maybe there won't be a next time. This is happening at sporting events, at malls, family festivals. You got your street takeovers. You have the political rallies or whatever it is. Social media coordination, zero parental supervision, no legal consequences, even when you catch them in the act on video. Oh, it is so frustrating.
Just imagine, by the way, in the event, in all likelihood, that Carmelo Anthony's found guilty of murder in the state of Texas, they will get worse.
We'll see. We'll see. Well, I don't think the majority of these kids know the story of Carmelo Anthony. There might be somebody that tells them what to do and gives them a leftist narrative of it and tell them this is reason why you need to go do this. But this is why they do need to face consequences. If they wanted to build more jails and more prisons to start putting these people away, then that's what they need to do. Because I am tired, I'm fatigued, and I'm sick and tired of seeing people like this get away with these kinds of things. It is so incredibly frustrating. And I think that America is tired of it. And we need to come up with some sort of a law or something where this is, and it's state by state, I understand that, but conservative states need to stand up and say, no, we're not going to allow this. Whether, they're talking about flash mobs on the streets, we're seeing this kind of moronic, stupid behavior at graduations as well, where they have the, I just stuck my wet hand in a light socket dance, the whole thing when they get their diploma. Congratulations, you got a diploma. You can read it at 4th grade level. Knock yourself out. See how you do in real life, you moron. Hey, it's 7:57. Joan's got the news coming up. Joan.
Yeah, coming up here in the news, an active barricade situation that is continuing in Clarksville this morning. Details coming up at 8 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Man, all that rain we got yesterday, you need to go down in your basement or your crawl space and see if you've got moisture or water If you do, then you've got to call my friends at USS United Structural Systems. They are experts in waterproofing, not to mention foundation repair and concrete leveling. Here's the thing about USS. They know the times are tough, so they do want to give you options like fix it now, pay it later. So, and you do need some work and you don't have the money right now, well, they're going to help you. They're offering you 24 months, no interest financing options because they do know the perils of waiting. These problems tend to get worse over time, not better. So you do have to get them fixed as soon as possible. Again, right now, they're offering you 24 months, no interest financing options. USS United Structural Systems, they've been out to my house before. I am one of their thousands of satisfied clients. And don't forget, you get 24 months, no interest financing options to get you the peace of mind you need. And the payments, well, they come later. 615-488-7855. 615-488-7855. USSTN.com. Dan, Dan Mandis here. You know how many ways we can lose power, right? You've got ice and storms and snow and tornadoes. There's one surefire way that you can get that power back on. That is a backup generator from the Generator Supercenter. Now, these folks are the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer. They feature turnkey installation, certified electricians and plumbers, maintenance and service after the install, and a whole lot more. Now, let me tell you how it works. The power goes out in your neighborhood. The power in your home turns right back on thanks to your backup generator from the Generator Supercenter. So if you're one of the many families talking about a backup generator, talk to the pros at the Generator Supercenter. By the way, another reason to love the Generator Supercenter, their generators are made right here in America. Now, they'll never leave you in the dark. Financing is available, and yes, they are waiting for your call. 615-879-1952, 615-879-1952, Generator Supercenter of Nashville.com.
Good morning. It's 8:02. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Got a closure on a roadway this morning you should know about. It's in Jolton. It's Whites Creek Pike at Jackman Road. There was a crash earlier this morning. Looks like the cleanup is underway. But again, in Jolton on Whites Creek Pike at Jackman Road, that roadway is closed down. In the news, there's an active barricade situation that continues in Clarksville this morning. Police are asking people living along Sturtevant Drive to stay inside their homes. They were called to the neighborhood last night because of a fight, and that's when they say a man walked into a home and refused to come out. Here's Channel 4's Holly Thompson.
Investigators say he has an order prohibiting him from being in this specific area. And we're told he is refusing to cooperate with police and that crisis negotiators have now been brought in to help.
And it's not clear if anyone else is inside that home with him. A gas station cashier in Hermitage is recovering at a hospital after trying to stop some shoplifters last night. This happened at the MAPCO on Lebanon Pike about 9:30 last night. The employee chased the shoplifters into the parking lot, and that's when one of the shoplifters produced a gun and shot the clerk. Police are using camera footage. They have not yet tracked down that shooter. New information now about the downing of a U.S. Apache helicopter near the Strait of Hormuz. U.S. Central Command saying the two Army pilots were rescued by an unmanned drone.
The rescue was carried out by Navy and Air Force assets from what is called Task Force 59, the Navy's first ever drone task force. An unmanned Navy surface vessel, a drone boat, was sent to pick up the downed crew. The crew was able to climb aboard the boat, which then delivered them to shore. All of this happened within 2 hours of the helicopter going down.
That's ABC's Martha Raddatz reporting. And President Trump attending Game 3 of the NBA Finals at Madison Square Garden last night. Here's ABC's Sophie Flay on the reception he got there.
It appeared to be a frosty reception at Madison Square Garden for President Trump. Trump, the first sitting president to attend an NBA Finals game.
Yeah, and apparently ABC News wasn't rolling their recorders during this. Fans chanting USA in the stands as President Trump, was being announced. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management online at beaconcm.com. We've got stock futures on the plus side this morning with the Dow futures up 160. That's the latest news, traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Okay, so that closure continues. It's in Joelton. It's on Whites Creek Pike at Jackman Road. That's where the roadway is shut down this morning. It's a pretty serious accident in that area. Also, wow, this just in, Mount Juliet on East Division Street between Clemens Road and Old Lebanon Dirt Road. That is also closed due to a crash. That one is a box truck that left the road and struck a pole. So 2 closures on the roadways this morning. Careful out there. In Hadley, Washington, you got a crash at 28th Avenue North and Herman Street. And one more in Rolling Mill Hill. This is 24 eastbound before I-40 East split. One more. Antioch, Century Farms Parkway. There's a crash at William Turner Parkway. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
808 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Love and hate on the Super Text line. Boy, oh boy.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to read a couple of these. Somebody said, and they're coming in so fast and furious, but 4175 says, you people. Who are you calling you people? I guess that's us.
What do you mean, you people?
You people are not healthy for American society with your propaganda and lies.
Yeah, I was going back and forth with that
I was trying to
person.
figure out, though, what propaganda and lies we were telling.
Well,
'cause,
he was mad that we talked about UNRWA. And
well, it's a fact that that's what they do. They help Hamas. So, but this guy in number one, here's what's crazy. I would ask 4175 if this little old show in Nashville, Tennessee, if we are not healthy for American society, well, then 4175, how you feeling? Because this dude has been listening and texting in for like months.
yes, and
now, very few
everyone
people actually.
angry.
Yeah, well, part of the reason why he's mad is because nobody ever responds to him.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, you sound cray-cray. So,
You just got to say something good.
you know what?
How about reasonable? I'd go for reasonable.
Calling me a propagandist is actually pretty good because now I'm referring to him. And I'm sure that I've probably mentioned him before, but.
I know where Dan's a propagandist.
Where's that?
When he takes a propaganda at his Ninja blender machine to make his frozen dangrias.
Okay, that has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but I also like to take a propaganda at my hydrangeas, which we covered in the 5 o'clock hour. What's interesting, Joan, is that in the 5 o'clock, after that big, like, frothing at the mouth, angry monologue that I did at the end of the last hour, I got more hate talking about my hydrangeas in the 5 o'clock hour.
If you take a propaganda at those hydrangeas, you'll change your mind.
People got mad at me because we talked about my hydrangeas. Whatever. I'm not going to go back there. I'm sorry
They
that
just wanted you to get to the news.
Yeah.
Dan, I consider your hydrangea updates to be news.
Listen, I enjoyed my hydrangea updates. Anyway, so, but I would ask 4175, then if we're not healthy for American society, why is it that you have been listening for months and you care so much that you text in? He also called us Zionist.
Yeah, you Zionist.
Okay. Apparently we just don't get it. Okay.
Nolene said, heck, nobody ever responds to me either. And she's not mad.
I've responded to Nolene before. Nolene, you're a liar.
What the
You're a
heck?
propagandist. All right. Anyway, whatever.
Billy says,
I'm just saying hi to Nolene.
I don't think society would accept a police officer using a baton on a minor or multiple minors, especially females. I don't think that would be good policy.
It's all right. You can be wrong.
Yeah.
Because I believe that if you have a bunch of girls or a bunch of minors who are attacking police officers, then yeah, I don't mind them getting hit with a baton.
Mama always said you want to act like an adult and you can, reap the consequences of what you sow like an adult.
That's actually, your mama is very smart, because that's true. I mean, if you haven't seen the video, and you can check out my X feed at Dan Manda's show of what I was playing, you have these young, look like teenage girls attacking police officers, and the police officers are not fighting back. And I believe the cops should have the right to use their batons. Now, apparently, what is it our friend Kathy Hinter said?
A friend of the show, Kathy Hinter, she said they're not, and she's a retired police officer, they're not allowed to hit above the shoulders with a baton.
Well, they should change that law. I'm kidding. You know what? You can kneecap them.
Yeah, okay.
Kneecap them.
That'll stop them for sure.
Kneecap them, and if it's...
I'm a fan of the less lethal beanbags myself.
Yeah, but beanbags, that's a little harder because you have to aim and fire, and as opposed to just... If you got somebody real close to you, that's the thing.
Yeah, that's true.
If they're close, you got like a bunch of girls that are throwing you down and hitting you and bear spraying you, then yeah, you know what? Why not? And sorry if you get hit in the head with a baton, but mess around and find out. It's fine. What did you say to Kathy? Did you agree with Kathy?
Well, I told her that I think the cops would wish to do so, even if they're not allowed. I'm sure they wish to.
You see
but
the
I feel
videos.
like their hands are tied. They not only they're the ones that are kneecapped. They just aren't allowed to do anything to protect themselves. And if they did do something to protect themselves, guess who would be A, hauled in for an investigation, B, fired, C, they get a lawsuit filed against them by the city and by the person that they hit. I mean,
I'd say they'd even be prosecuted. You had that case in New York of the officer who tried to stop the suspect on a scooter by throwing a cooler in front of it, and he's going to prison for 9 years for manslaughter.
Oh, my goodness.
And I've mentioned Daniel Penny a couple of times, where this is a guy that saved a whole subway full of people, and his life was ruined.
And we did the story.
And he almost went to jail.
We did the story last week about the cop that showed up in North Carolina to a breaking and entering. And the woman tried to stop him, and so he punched her to the ground.
Yeah.
And he was charged in that case, yeah.
He was charged. He lost his job. And I mean, he lost his job within hours. His police force did not stand behind him for a second.
Which is why when you have those videos of whatever park you were showing earlier, talking about the cops standing off to the side, they're just not going to risk it. They want to keep their pension and their paycheck, well, whatever pension's left after Mamdani raided it. But they want to keep their jobs and their benefits.
Speaking of New York and crime and not so much punishment, so the Penn Station slasher, right? This comes from the New York Post.
Yes.
Penn Station slasher. So this guy, I don't know if you remember this story. This was a couple of days ago, where a homeless guy walks into Penn Station and stabs 5 people with a dagger as he's roaming free despite an arrest just weeks earlier in New Jersey and a conviction from an earlier similar stabbing. Guy's name is Hector De Leon, 51 years old, and he was quickly released on, wait for it, cashless bail after his 2022 arrest for slashing a man in the neck in Newark, and then received just 2 years of probation as a sentence, court records show. So this guy is clearly, number one, he's homeless. Number two, I believe that he is beyond helping. I think he's probably criminally insane, mentally ill, whatever. But because they have no real facilities for somebody like this, and they've got the soft on crime policies and the cashless bail, dude stabs a guy in the neck and then he's just walking around free to walk into Penn Station and stab another 5 people. I mean, they talk about in the New York Post, real quick, 'cause I don't want to miss traffic. Wait till you hear what this guy's criminal record is. It is 8:15, time to check the roads on WTN.
Juliet, east of Lemons Road and Old London Dirt Road due to a crash. Rolling Mill Hill, 24 eastbound before 40, the eastern split, we've got an accident on the right shoulder. I'm Christy O'Brien.
As far as your weather goes, flood watch through 1 o'clock this afternoon. Scattered showers and thunderstorms north of I-40. High around 87. All right. So this guy in New York who stabbed 5 people, Hector De Leon, he's had at least 7 prior arrests, including stabbing a guy in the neck. 6 of which unfolded in New Jersey, including bus for aggravated assault, unlawful possession of a weapon, use of a possession or drugs, assault, domestic assault, and criminal mischief. But again, the soft on crime policies just meant that this guy was allowed to roam free. Before the attack at Penn Station, De Leon was most recently busted May 22nd in Long Branch, New Jersey for theft and possession of drug paraphernalia charges. So in 2022, he stabbed that guy because he was told he was not allowed on the property because he stole things. He pulls out a 6-inch blade and stabs the guy. Stabs him. Sounds kind of like Carmelo Anthony, as a matter of fact. But his record is just incident after incident of stabbings and assaults leading up to the attack. And again, he's also homeless. And so, when the Penn Station thing, I'm going to ask this question. Joan, when you hear something like this, I'm going to be honest. Guy running around Penn Station with a knife. First thing I thought of was a Muslim terror attack, right?
Yeah.
It is what naturally comes to mind. But, the reality is that right now the attacks are coming from the mentally ill, the chronic homeless, the criminally insane, the never punished repeat offenders who keep escalating their behavior. I mean, think about what happened in North Carolina with Irina Zarutska and how she was killed by that guy, DeCarlos Brown. Remember that one? And that dude had a criminal record a mile long. He was mentally ill. It goes on and on. That guy should have either been in prison. He should have been in some sort of a place for the mentally ill or the criminal insane. I know they don't really have those anymore. You see all the people that are throwing other people in front of trains in the subway, and those people are clearly mentally ill as well.
Here, you wanna seethe?
Sure.
So in Midtown East, exactly 0.6 of a mile from Madison Square Garden, is a homeless drop-in center called Main Chance.
Main Chance?
Main Chance.
Okay.
Homeless drop-in center. That the Mamdani administration has gunned for closure. They want to close it down. They want for the homeless people to not have that place to at least drop in and get a good night's sleep or something.
Now, why is that?
They're going to close it down. They said because Main Chance is overrun. It has too many people showing up every day, and so they couldn't feed everyone. It's run by a not-for-profit operator. Mm-hmm. They couldn't feed everyone every day. They couldn't allow people to just come in and use the bathrooms all the time. You have to be a shelter. Like a resident of the shelter in order to use the facilities. Mm-hmm. Well, Mamdani said you have to give everybody everything all the time or you can't operate here.
He's a socialist.
Yeah. And so they're
so now they're going to shut it down, and now you're going to have all these people without any services.
And
so this kind of thing is
only a half mile from MSG, mm-hmm. where this incident happened the other day. Mm-hmm. These people have nowhere to go, and Mamdani is making it even harder for them to have someplace to go.
Well, it's a good thing he's defunding all those cops, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you got cashless bail. By the way, they do have cashless bail in not only New York, but also New Jersey. So this guy, the subway slasher, he had all of these problems with the law. And basically, he's out walking around. And people who you don't know what this is, cashless bail. It's where people basically commit crimes, but they're not held in jail. They don't have to present any type of bail because, bail is racist. This thing is the other guy. He had also broken probation over and over again, this De Leon, the subway slasher. So he's on probation. He doesn't have to present any kind of bail money, and he breaks that probation over and over. And now he stabbed the total of at least 6 people. 5 last week or earlier, whenever that was. And then back in 2022, he stabbed the dude in the neck. So again, not to belabor the point, but people are always talking about the radical Muslims and terror attacks, and I get it. But the reality is that right now you see these stabbings and the senseless violence happening because we have completely discarded trying to treat people who are mentally ill. And those who are never punished, they're repeat offenders. Often because of these cashless bail policies. So that's what's going on.
Well, and you can't, in New York, New Jersey, you can. It's just extremely difficult and expensive. You're not able to protect yourself in the same manner as you can in a Tennessee, Florida, or a Texas.
You're not allowed to carry.
Because when you said my first thought was it may have been a Muslim terrorist attack, my first thought was how many rounds would I have needed to stop the threat?
Right.
And prevent him from hurting more than one person if possible.
Well, and if you've never been to Penn Station, it is huge. People will say, oh, well, they've got security there. Well, they do, But do you know all the crap that is going on in Penn Station? You walk into Penn Station, and I'm sure that it's the same thing at, I forget what it is. But, I mean, there's homeless people that are all over the place. I mean, they litter the entire train station. And again, it's huge. So security has their hands full. And then you've got the subway slasher that walks in, and he just, he starts stabbing people. And I don't know if they're willing to shoot the guy or not.
No, they're probably not. They try to disarm him first. I guess New York, London, these places don't consider knives to be deadly weapons to the same extent that they consider handguns.
Well, it's dumb because you know what? A gun in the hands of a good guy is going to take out a knife or a gun in the hands of a bad guy. It is just that simple. They're so infected with the mind virus of woke that they don't see common sense, and they refuse to accept reality of what the American people are dealing with every day, like Mamdani in New York. These liberals, these progressives, whether we're talking about New York, New Jersey, Los Angeles, you could talk about places in Maryland, we could talk about San Francisco. Why do you think Spencer Pratt? Why do you think he was connecting with so many people in Los Angeles? It's because of what the people of Los Angeles have been going through. Yet here we are in Los Angeles. They decided, apparently, to vote for the Democrats yet again, so they get what they vote for. It is 8:24. Joan's got the news coming up at 8:30. Joan.
Yeah, coming up here at 8:30, that's it for Spencer Pratt. It's over for him. We've got details of what's happening in that election coming up at 8:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Friends, Father's Day is June 21st, and if you are stuck, you don't know what to get dear old dad, how about a gun? How about ammunition? Maybe some two-way accessories? Literally anything your dad wants regarding 2A, you can get at the Glock store with a gift certificate. And yes, indeed, the Glock store is my 2A store. It should be yours as well, if it's not already. Now, a couple of years ago, we got Amy's dad a gift certificate from the Glock store. He absolutely loved it. So if you've got a 2A loving dad, husband, or son, think about the Glock store. They've got racks of guns and ammo and accessories. They've also got specialized training at the Glock store as well. We're talking about in the dark, around corners, real life situations. So if you want to make sure that the dad in your life is ready to protect his family, well, this is a great way to do it. A gift certificate from the Glock store can be used for training. Check him out online, glockstore.com and shoot270.com. Glock store and shoot270.com. As always, tell him Dan Mandis told you to reach out.
Good morning. It's now 8:30, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Well, that's it for Spencer Pratt. Los Angeles City Council member Nithya Raman has officially overtaken him, and she'll be the only challenger to Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass on the November ballot.
Certainly, you can understand it must be frustrating for Republicans to see a lead of 40,000 plus votes for Spencer Pratt on election night, and then every single day when new votes come in, that lead shrinks. President Trump has been saying for days now that he outright believes it's rigged. And again, he hasn't presented any evidence of that. And we have certainly not seen any evidence of that. This is following a long-standing trend in California vote counting that goes back quite a long time.
That's ABC's Trevor Ault reporting. Nashville police have shot and killed 5 pit bull dogs overnight after responding to a phone call from neighbors who said that they could hear a woman inside her East Nashville home screaming. Here's Channel 4's Joylyn Bukovac.
Police officers responded just after midnight to reports of a woman screaming. This is near 14th Avenue North and McKinney Avenue. And when they arrived, they say that they could hear someone inside the home in distress. And that's when they found those 5 dogs attacking that woman. Investigators say officers opened fire to stop the attack, killing all 5 dogs. And that woman was rushed to the hospital with serious injuries. And right now, police have not released the identity of that woman.
Yeah, but we do know she suffered some serious injuries and she is in the hospital. We'll update you with information as soon as we get it. A truck traveling on I-75 in Hamilton County went up in flames and in sparkles on Saturday night. It was carrying fireworks and put on quite a display as it was burning up. Now, we can only joke about it because nobody got injured in the truck or those who were fighting the fire, thank goodness. But we have learned this morning that Tennessee Highway Patrol has cited the fireworks trailer driver on several violations, including lack of hazardous materials registration. That driver didn't have a hazardous materials endorsement, and the truck didn't have a U.S. DOT number. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com. 8:30 here. We've been trading now for a couple of minutes, and Dow Jones Industrials are up 317 points. The NASDAQ starting off here 191 points higher. S&P is up 45 here at the start. That's the latest news, traffic, and weather. Next, I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Mandis, if you are having trouble sleeping, you're not alone. Sleep apnea is a big problem that a lot of folks go through across Tennessee. Now, if you've been snoring, restless, you're always tired, weight gain, and high blood pressure, a lot of this could be related to sleep apnea. You know, one of the big predictors of sleep apnea is the size of your neck, actually. There's a correlation between neck size and no sleep. Now, some folks say that going through red light technology can help reduce neck size and help you sleep. Contours LLC in Franklin, they can help you. CPAPs, they work, but they can make you miserable. Surgery is messy, costly, requires a lot of downtime, and some of these other options, well, they're hit and miss. So if you're looking for help, Contours can help get your neck size reduced. It's also, by the way, going to tighten your skin and could help with your sleep apnea as well. And the best part is it is non-invasive, it is safe, it is relatively inexpensive, with no incisions, no pain, and no recovery time. So if you've got sleep apnea and nothing is working, why not visit ContoursLLC.com and see what they can do for you. They're in Cool Springs. They even have a come and try it special for just $99. 615-236-9960, 615-236-9960. ContoursLLC.com. After all, what have you got to lose but sleeplessness? Dan Mandis here. I am so grateful to the Charlie Daniels Journey Home Project. Now, great Americans who have been crucial in helping our military veterans acclimate to life back home after multiple deployments. Our men and women of the military need the support that the Charlie Daniels Journey Home Project provides. Rehabilitation is a huge issue for returning veterans, and the Charlie Daniels Journey Home Project has been there for our veterans for years, and now they're protecting our first responders with a new partnership with an organization called Shield 616, providing life-saving body armor for the Wilson County Sheriff's Department. Now, these advanced ballistic vests will provide protection to first responders as they are protecting you. Give to the Charlie Daniels Journey Home Project today. As much work as they've done to help veterans and first responders, sadly, there's still much work to be done. Find them online and give today at charliedanielsjourneyhomeproject.org. That's charliedanielsjourneyhomeproject.org. Learn more and donate to the veterans and the first responders. charliedanielsjourneyhomeproject.org. Return, rehabilitate, and reintegrate.
Yeah, 2 closures still going on this morning. One is in Mount Juliet. This is on East Division Street between Clemens Road and Old Lebanon Dirt Road. It is closed in that area due to a box truck that is involved in a crash. It struck a pole. The crash, they say, is just outside of Mount Juliet. So Tennessee Highway Patrol is working on that. But again, watch yourself in Mount Juliet. East Division Street is closed off Clemens Road to Old Lebanon Dirt Road. The other one is in Jolton. That's on Whites Creek Pike. It's closed off Baxter Road to Jackman Road. They've been working on a crash scene there for quite a while this morning. In Greenwood, you've got an accident, Gallatin Avenue between West Eastland Avenue and Seymour Avenue. And then in Germantown, Jefferson Street at Rosa Parks Boulevard. There is a crash scene there as well. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Oh, did you hear that I got called a propagandist?
Let's go. Is it because you're overly pro zoo?
Apparently so.
Tell me. What was
well, first of all, I'm not a propagandist. I'm a propagandist.
Oh, let's go.
Ah?
You should get that tattooed on you.
Should that be my tattoo?
Don't encourage him, Chris.
And right underneath it, no regrets.
No regrets. Anyway, yeah, I got called, Joan and I got called propaganda. We got called unhealthy for society.
Well,
actually.
I'm not surprised that Joan is getting labeled that way.
Yeah. Well,
But
she's from
I am
New Jersey.
I am shocked that you're getting labeled that way.
Well, you know what? Perhaps he was upset that I am not only, by and large, pro-Israel, but I'm also pro-zoo. Joan, did you know that Chris here is anti-zoo?
I am.
I knew that he's not a fan of animals or people enjoying themselves watching animals.
It's true.
I don't think he's a fan of fun.
It's not this isn't a pro data center take. This is just a strictly anti-zoo take.
Anti-zoo.
Yeah.
The zoo is overrated. And I have heard so many people come out of the woodwork to defend the zoo over the past couple of days. And I'm like, the more I hear it, the more anti-zoo I become.
Why?
Because it's not fun.
The zoo is fun.
No, it's not. It's not. You're paying what, $30 to $40 a head.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
You're playing Russian roulette with the weather. It is either scorching hot or it is downpouring rain. You never see in the animals. The animals never come out of their enclosure.
Wow.
You get excited about seeing one animal and it's nap time. And I'm not impressed. The snacks are not good.
And they're expensive.
And they're expensive.
Joan, are you anti-zoo too?
And then right when you think you have finally made it through the zoo-pocalypse, they hit you with the gift shop right at the end.
Yeah,
and then,
which you have to walk through in order to get out the door.
And then the kids, see, I'm turning her. So then the kids are like, Dad, I need this stuffed animal of a meerkat that's only $60 to remember this day. And every time I get suckered into the stuffed animal, do you know what happens to the stuffed animal, Dan? The stuffed animal's forgotten about within a day.
Mm-hmm.
And so are all the memories but it takes me months to recover from the financial impact of the zoo.
All right.
And then, oh no, hold on. It gets worse because then they say, well, you know what? You could actually save a lot of money. You buy a zoo pass.
Yeah. And you can go anytime you want.
And then you know how many times you go? You go once.
Point of personal privilege.
Yeah.
I feel like kids are a factor. I've never had the animal not show up for me, and I've been to multiple zoos across the country.
Yeah.
Well, you have that attraction thing going on.
Oh, so my hormone levels? Is that what it is?
Can we not talk about Sam's hormone levels?
Yeah.
I think that'd be good.
Zoos are overrated.
All right, here's what I want to.
Have you ever been there when the animals act badly?
I fed a hippo once.
I've seen. Oh my God, have I told this? Oh,
I have a good story too.
Well, hold on. I want to know. I want to take an on-air Daily Dan poll.
Down with the Nashville Zoo.
615-737-9986. I actually want to take phone calls on Chris's hot take on saying that zoos are overrated.
Where are the parents in the audience? We need to band together.
Well, I'm a parent, and I could tell you that your take leaves me feeling cold and sad.
We need to organize a protest.
Oh my
This
goodness.
isn't for the data center, just strictly anti-zoo.
So do you know what one of my earliest memories is? Now, before I mention this comment, I'm going to say the comment, but there will be no elongated conversation about my comment. I remember as a young person going to the zoo with my father, and I saw a type of monkey pleasuring himself.
Yeah.
I remember that. Wasn't throwing poo, it was doing that. And I remember saying to my dad, "Dad, what's it doing? Come on, son, we got to go." I think he was anti-zoo after that, as a matter of fact.
Yes.
Maybe that's what happened to my dad.
Many
So,
dads are.
I thought it was, now looking back, I think it was funny as all get out. And same thing happened then when I was a father, taking my children to the zoo. The same thing happened. So I don't know, something's up with these monkeys. But anyway, so, well, something is up. Anyway, what?
So I was at the Philadelphia Zoo.
Mm-hmm.
This was on a date many years ago, and there was a group of kids, like kindergartners. They were all sitting in front of the tiger display. You know, there was benches, watching the tigers, and the tiger approached the edge of the cage and sprayed the children
with
urine. Sprayed the children.
The impressive part about that is they have to turn their rear ends towards you to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, see, I was trying to figure out sort of like how that, the mechanics
logistics.
of it. Yeah, the logistics of it.
You're like Zach Galifianakis in The Hangover. You just doing the mental math, trying to
Yeah,
figure
like,
this thing
how
out.
does that even work? Do they have to lift their leg, or how does that work?
Yeah,
So what did the kids do?
They obviously cried. They were scarred, and they needed therapy after.
Do you feel the same way about aquariums?
No, actually.
Okay, then you're inconsistent.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you are. You're a hypocrite. You are a hypocrite.
The Chattanooga Aquarium is far better than the Nashville Zoo, and everybody knows it.
All right, 6-1.
And also, the aquarium is air conditioned. I can go on a rainy day. I can go on a hot day.
Okay, there is that.
I can go on a cold day, Dan.
There's one more thing about a zoo. The smelly parts.
It's very smelly.
In the reptile area?
Yeah.
Ooh, yuck.
Well, yeah, but
Petting zoo, I imagine, be worse than the reptile area.
Petting zoo's usually outside, but the reptile area is warm and smelly.
Can I
and
ask-
you're enclosed.
When did you, Joan, and Chris lose your fun, childlike mentality? Because, I mean, you two, I'm usually the get off my lawn guy, but you guys have taken the get off my lawn crown and you've run with it. Now, I want to find out, 615-737-9986. Is it Brian in Madison? Brian, I don't know. What do you think about Chris's take, hot or cold?
Hey, Chris, this is Brian. U-Haul Brian.
What's up, Brian?
I'm supporting you, bro. 100%. I've been to, like Sam, I have been to zoos all over. I've been to one in Germany. But I would like to see a tiger spray a bunch of children. That'd be pretty cool, don't you think?
Is that on video somewhere, Joan?
No.
I love how it's like it translates. It doesn't matter what language you speak. The zoo is a disappointment.
Can we be honest? If it were a bunch of kids wanting to have like a flash mob of violence, I would like to see them get sprayed with some tiger spray. Absolutely.
Okay, now you're coming over, Dan. You're coming over.
You know
what? And Chris is right. He's right about the aquarium. It's air conditioned. Go there.
Yep.
I'm 100% behind you, brother.
Thanks, Brian.
When you go to the aquarium, do you eat fish, or does that scare the fish that are like there?
I don't know. Do they do that?
Do they serve fish at an aquarium?
They should. They should.
You know what? I don't know if they serve fish at an aquarium.
That would be based.
All right. Well, they serve hamburgers at the zoo, and
yeah, but
you
they don't have cows at the zoo.
No, I guess they don't.
You know what I would like?
What?
I want a zoo with just average animals. Like, come on, kids, let's go see the squirrels.
Let's go see the deer, right? Because I must have seen like 5 deer on my way in. Kevin's in Nashville on a WTN. By the way, are the deers rutting right now? You know where the deer like to,
Mate?
Mate.
You can say the word mate.
Can I say the word mate, Joan?
That's okay.
If you're not watching on Super Talk TV, you missed the awkward hand motion that Dan was trying to do instead of saying the word.
I was about to say, that's what Democrats do, Dan.
So, I don't know. All I know is the deer are running around. Last couple of days, man, they've been all over the place on my way into work.
There's been a heavy frolic in the air.
Has there been a heavy frolic?
Well, it is springtime.
Yeah. When a deer's mind turns to... What? Anyway, Kevin is in Nashville on WTN. Kevin, what do you think of the Nashville Zoo? Are you pro data center or pro zoo?
I don't know about that, but I was going to mention that back in the 90s, the Nashville Zoo was located in Jolton, and it was great. And I remember they had it was called the Grassmere Wildlife Park down in South Nashville, and I went there, and it was bad because it was designed for all the animals to be in their natural habitat, which was far away from you, and you could never see it. And then when I discovered that they were going to make that into the new Nashville Zoo, I was like, oh no, this is not going to work.
Yep, and you were right.
Are you a zoo guy, Kevin? Like, do you like zoos?
But not this zoo, not the one that they put here.
Have you been to the Louisville Zoo?
No, but I heard that's great.
If you're a zoo guy, and I am, the Louisville Zoo is incredible. And thanks for calling, Kevin.
Don't do it, Kevin. It's going to be just as disappointing
as
every other zoo on the planet. Everybody gets hyped.
When did you become such a curmudgeon?
I'm just letting you know. The anticipation and the hype of going to the zoo is always better than the actual experience of being at the zoo.
Can I ask you a question? Were you ever a child?
Yes.
Okay. When you were a child, did you go to the zoo? Did your parents take you to the zoo?
I did, and I was disappointed then. And I'm disappointed now.
If I got Brooks and Kennedy on the phone, would they say, zoo, disappointing?
Probably.
Well, yeah, because they're listening to their dad complain about it all day.
It's true. Listen, the zoo is overrated, and everybody knows it. This isn't a pro-data center take. It's not. This is a strictly anti-zoo response to all of the fabricated, inorganic love that the zoo has been getting the past few days. The zoo, like, I don't care what anybody says. If there was an elderly center next to the data center, then people would be taking up for the elderly because it doesn't matter what's next to it. People are anti-data center. To go overly pro-zoo the last few days in Nashville has been one of the most fabricated AstroTurf takes I've ever seen. Everyone knows that it is a money pit, and you are coming out less happy than you went in.
2637. Remember, Chris doesn't like the Statue of Liberty either.
The Statue of Liberty should be melted down and sold for the national debt, and everybody knows it.
So, you know what's so funny? If they put a data center next to an old folks home, people wouldn't care.
Isn't that a shame?
That is a shame.
And like, screw those old people.
That's right. You know what? Move it next to Golden Acres or whatever it is.
Who cares about light pollution? They can't see. That's what they would say. Oh, the humming's going to bother them? Turn down your hearing aids.
They can't hear. Oh, my goodness gracious. Let's see here. Sally is making fun of me, a zoo guy. Well, whatever.
Come on, Sally. You know, like that tracks, right? With Dan.
Yeah, I say things. Whatever.
Well,
I love how Dan pulls out the one text that it was anti anti-Chris here on the zoo take, but he doesn't read the 300 others that have come in backing me up about the zoo being overrated.
Deer mating is called the rut. Okay. So apparently, well, yeah, that's what I said. Didn't I say rutting? Or is it rutting? Or like I know, like is rutting the proper? Would that be a verb of rut?
Term for deer in heat.
Yeah. Anyway, whatever. They're running all over my neighborhood, and it's irritating the living crap out of me.
You better watch. They like eating hydrangeas.
Oh, I got a Glock.
You're right. It's called the rut.
Yeah. Okay. I got a Glock, and I'm not afraid to use it if they start eating my hydrangeas. Holy mackerel! Well, they can't get in because I got a new gate. I put up a brand new gate. $9,000 for this gate.
What?
So you made sure that they didn't have a key?
What's your reaction going to be?
Yes, Joe, and I made sure they didn't have a key.
Okay.
What's your reaction going to be if a deer clears it in one jump?
Yeah.
It's going to be the same reaction that many adults in the Nashville area have when they go to the zoo. Just disappointment.
They'll okay. You know what?
And you know what? It probably costs the same.
$9,000.
Okay, is it wrong? Okay, here's a question. We could do this as a Daily Dan poll. Is it wrong to shoot a deer to protect your hydrangeas?
Nope.
Let's go to the phones.
Not at all.
No?
Nuisance law. Now, it depends on what your city local ordinance is on discharging a firearm.
My neighborhood.
So you're good.
My neighborhood, man, they're shooting guns all the time.
Anyways, I started blasting.
Frank.
That's exactly right. Oh, God.
So, yeah, zoos are terrible.
I would pay to see that footage of you defending your hydrangeas with lethal force.
Yeah.
Just John Wicking it out to the front porch.
I would. No, my hydrangeas are in the back porch.
Now the deer know, Dan.
Last time I
was
checked,
trying to obfuscate.
Last time I checked, I wasn't popular with the deer community. They keep trying to run in front of my car.
Yeah, Randy texted and he said, Chris, I've been to zoos before. And eventually I leave feeling sorry for the animals in cages.
No.
Yeah, all these people have such a big heart for the animals that are locked in captivity.
Listen, Randy, you're the one that's keeping them locked in cages because if it wasn't for your $65 paying to get into the zoo, these animals would probably just either be, number one, put down, or number two, put in the wild where because they've been raised in captivity, they would be killed by the wild animals.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
Do you remember like the backyard zoo in Ohio where like the lions got out that one time? It was like a Tiger King kind of zoo.
I remember that. That was years ago.
Based.
Oh my gosh, that was so fun. The Tiger King. Did you watch the Tiger King?
Of course I watched the Tiger King. It was all we could do during COVID.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. You have a safari park in Alamo, Tennessee. 7.5 mile drive through.
So just so we're clear, I like zoos.
Yeah.
Chris does not like
trust
zoos.
us. It's clear, Dan.
By the way, apparently the Nashville Zoo, they're advertisers because in the middle of this segment, the general manager walked up to that window right there to your right and looked in. And there was a little bit of a scowl. That's why you may have, some of you folks, if you're listening real closely, you heard me say, oh God. That was because I looked to my left and saw the general manager peering in.
Opinion fueled, baby.
Information fueled, opinion driven.
Oh.
Get it right, Chris.
Get it right.
We're driving the opinions, baby.
1660. You're full of it. Which part?
The fact that the zoo is fun. They're attacking you, obviously.
Yeah, Dan pro zoo. I am pro zoo. I know, by the way.
1503 said, zoos are smart cities for animals.
Listen, if I was a tiger, I would much rather have my dinner brought to me than have to like go chasing after it in the wild.
And
right?
you get free reign to apparently urinate on kids.
That'd be kind of fun.
So I just actually looked that up on YouTube.
There's the promo. There's the promo clip.
Yeah.
You need to update the promos before Dan goes on vacation. You know, I'd love to be a tiger at the zoo. I get my dinner brought to me, and you could urinate on kids. That'd be fun. Dan Mandis in Nashville's Morning News.
May or may not be returning.
Marconi winning.
We don't do tiger blood. We do tiger pee.
All right, moving right along. Anyway.
I looked that up about the tigers peeing, and there's like multiple videos of tigers.
It's like a pressure washer.
Yeah, they enjoy doing that to young children.
All right, got to go. 8:50.
Hold on. This is another thing, real quick. The clouded leopard. Come on. Nobody even knew what the clouded leopard was before last week.
That's why we need them in the zoos.
Anti-clouded leopard, but we'll save that for another day.
I'm all about the clouded leopard. Anyway.
Yeah, that tracks, Dan.
8:55. Joan was coming up.
A U.S. helicopter downed in the Middle East. We've got the latest on the rescue of the pilots coming up here at 9 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan. 8:55, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Dan Mandis here. For my friends at the Covered Patio, warmer weather means you want to spend more time outside. If you want to add more living space to your home, think about building or upgrading your patio. At the Covered Patio, they've got motorized screens so that you can easily keep the patio open when you want some sun and closed when you want some shade. So your back screened-in porch becomes a lot more enjoyable. Now, at the Covered Patio, they've got a ton of outdoor living options with motorized screens and patio covers and custom wooden decks and outdoor structures as well. They've got a ton of options with styles for every budget at the Covered Patio. They're dedicated to fair prices and customized solutions for your specific home and your specific space. So enjoy your home a lot more with an incredible patio upgrade from the Covered Patio. Reach on out to them. Tell them Dan told you to reach out. 615-695-2407. 615-695-2407. Online anytime, thecoveredpatio.com. Friends, if you need a washer or a dryer, indoor furniture, home office furniture, maybe kitchen appliances, go to my place, DT McCall's. Why? Well, because they're always looking for ways to save you money. There's, of course, everyday low prices and rebates available. Don't forget, they also have terrific sales events as well. Now, at DT McCall's, they've been building customer loyalty for over 100 years, treating people right